Yo, what is up, Rotogrinders? Dean here, Dean78904. That is your daily fantasy handle. It's 5 o'clock on the dot on the East Coast. Get comfortable, strap in, 2 hours plus of MLB DFS conversation, all the way up to the bell, all the way up to lock tonight, 7:05. If you're playing some DFS with us tonight. Kirk D said he had some stuff he wanted to get off his chest pre-show, so he was fired up. He was excited. So I'm going to first go to TJ. What's up, TJ? How are things in your world? We got to put Kirk D's on pause just for a second. And didn't you? You're coming back from a bachelor party. Is that not? I feel like you talked about that. You survived it. What kind of bullet points do you want to tell us about it?
Survived it. It was relatively chill. We had a fun golf scramble during the day, and then went back to my house and just had some drinks, played some games, stuff like that. It was a good time, but I'm tired today, and it's honestly not because of that. I just didn't get a good sleep last night. I think maybe I might have been too fired up from my morning grind episode with Luch. It just got me too excited. I couldn't get any sleep, but overall doing good. And we got a really fun tournament slate today.
Yeah, it's a fun one for sure. We're going to be fully diving in a second. 9-gamer, no clear and obvious favorite stack far as I can tell. All right, what's up, Kirkties? Hopefully things are well. I see you're already tilted in the chat. I don't know the backstory in this. Maybe this is part of the things you want to get off your chest, but I guess you lost your wrench in chat. Were you once a moderator and you're no longer? You've lost your moderator privileges?
Apparently. So I'm going to be on strike in a minute soon if this doesn't get cleared up. So, basically I watched the show yesterday. I tuned in and it was just a complete letdown from every angle. First thing I was looking, because I thought you were going to at least just for men your mustache, right? Because you tweeted out that you were at the store and you had it. So I was, so that got me to tune in. I was like, I have to see this, and so that was a disappointment. Then Chop all of a sudden says he would piss on my face.
Well, there's context. You gotta.
He said context. Piss. I'd piss all over his face, and I've never seen someone happier to say that.
If you got stung by a jellyfish, though, you got to have the qualifier. Out of context, that sounds worse.
Yeah, but I thought it was out of line personally. So. Yeah,
you wouldn't do it for him if his face was.
And then I lost my wrench somehow.
You know what it was? It was probably you giving too many spoilers in chat. That's probably what happened. And TJ, I know TJ's with me on this. We live in the world of a society. We live in a society, TJ. You don't stand for spoilers, right? Your site, Agents of Fandom, people go in there and start spoiling stuff. You're not having that. Those people get booted.
Yeah, the time and a place depends where you're putting it. If it's depends how long since the show's been out. It depends where you're posting it. It's a complicated line.
Less than 24 hours. Kirk Dees is firing away.
I spoiled nothing.
Barry, you spoiled Barry.
No, when I do a light spoil, it's you don't know that I'm spoiling it, and then you have to come in and be like, then you prove that it's spoiled. People wouldn't have known it was spoiled until you came in.
You flat out said what happened in Barry. You said the exact thing that happened. The big cliffhanger. You told the people what happened to them. There's no confirming.
I just said Barry got caught. For everybody who doesn't know out there, Barry gets caught.
See, and now this is somehow my fault. That you're gonna blame that one on me too. Is that my fault?
He could have got caught doing anything. It could have been anything. Could have been caught. He got
caught cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
Barry got caught making 300 lineups from a second account.
Yeah, and then he won $1 million again. That's somebody else, right? Never mind. We shouldn't get into that. Yeah. So TJ, we got a 9-gamer going down tonight. Let's say hello to the chat. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We got plenty of time. Get comfortable to have and now I have producer Devin is working with us today. A lot of times he's lurking behind the scenes, and he's clicking the buttons. He is the hockey goalie in the comment section. If you want your comment, that's in chat. If it's good enough for the people, Devin is the hockey goalie. He's the one that's going to say, that is a good comment. That's going on the big screen. He's going to highlight it. And Andre in chat said it's my fault. How was that my fault? I goaded out of him? I don't force Kirk Dees to say these things. Anyways.
The people know. The people understand.
There's no way was that my fault.
I did a little tiny, it could have been taken so many different ways. No one really knew. And then you come in there and go, oh my God, he spoiled it. So it makes it look like a fact. So essentially you spoil it is what happens.
No. You are deflecting, my friend. Yeah, so 9-game slate today. I'll throw it to you, Kirkies. Give me the screenshot because, the hitting, there's no clear and obvious spot as far as hitting. By the way, Byron Buxton not playing baseball this evening, at least not starting, which is somewhat troublesome because I liked him. He's already in a couple of my show lineups. Got to kick him out. And somebody else wasn't playing too, which we'll get to in a second. I couldn't remember who it was that was expected. We have Goldie back for St. Louis for what it's worth. He was dealing with a back. We do have a weather issue we're monitoring also. See what Roth has to say. I'll go ahead and drop that link in chat. But you tell me, Kirkies, give me the screenshot as far as this slate.
It's kind of anything goes. It's bananas. Like salary doesn't matter tonight is the way that I kind of see it because so first of all, like you've got the best pitcher overall probably is Shohei Ohtani. I mean, you could say Rodon for sure too as well, but he has the tough matchup in Atlanta where it is hot and a little bit steamy over there. So you know that my dew point system likes the hitting weather over there.
Your dew point system.
I don't know what Roth thinks. I don't know. But anyways, so Ohtani, and he's 1,700 cheaper. And then you've got, for SP2s, you've got plenty of ways to go. You've got, George Kirby at 6,600 and a great matchup against Oakland. Now, he's not the highest strikeout upside arm, but he's a very good arm overall. And, low walks and he's just been very good. So that's a great matchup. Plus there is some extra upside with him, like if everything is working. So I do like him. And then there's Charlie Morton is interesting to me too. He came back after, he's had a really some phenomenal starts, 2 back-to-back, and everything's been working with him. You'll look the minuscule walks, and it's just his command has been spot on. The curveball, he has a nasty curve. Curveball's been humming, so that he looks good. Jordan Montgomery, if you want to play like the safety route, potentially the things like that. If you want to get crazy, because I know Eric Johnson will probably be in here, and he'll want the craziest play that you can play. And now I'm not saying as crazy as Patrick Corbin, although that's even not that crazy, but I won't be playing him. But you can go to a guy like Daniel Lynch, who really had his strikeout stuff going in his last start. And there's a huge variance. He has, he's got talent. This is a talented young prospect, good pitcher, who's just had a rough go of it so far. Everything was clicking. He had 10 strikeouts, was looking really good in his last start against Oakland, and now he gets the high strikeout Angels. So long story short, there was so many things. You could play Shane Baz if you want to, even though he's overpriced because he's probably not going to go deep into the game, but he looked really good. And he had a tough matchup with the Yankees, but you could do so many things. And then we got on the batting side, we've got all these cheap plays. We got cheap stacks and the Red Sox are watered down. You were thinking about Rafael Devers is
that's who it was,
probably thinking of, because Ref Snyder's in the lineup for 2.6K, but Duran is leading off 3.5K. So if you want to go back to the Red Sox on a day where they're probably not as chalky where they have been in the last couple of days, because they're facing Skubal, but Skubal can dominate and Skubal can get dominated. It's as simple as that. So, that's another cheap stack. So we got cheap stacks, you got cheap one-offs. So I think tonight is kind of your night, Dean. I feel like this is like a 4-man stack kind of night, not 5, just like a 4, and then layer it with the best play, your favorite home run upside plays around it.
You say that's my kind of night, but I feel like you do that too to some degree.
I do that too. Yeah. Okay, so this is our kind of night.
Yeah, there you go. And it's funny because I made 2 shell lineups today before the show, and of course I'll tinker afterwards, other stuff on Fanduel, and I had the Pirates were my number 1 ranked stack, and I'll talk about it in a bit as the why.
No Mike Trout.
Oh, okay, huh? Well, that's throwing things off. There's no good players left. We lost Devers, we lost Buxton, we lost Trout. Who's left standing?
I mean, that stinks for Lynch. There goes that high strikeout bat.
Oh, come on, stop
it. golden sombrero, they call him these days.
Oh, he had a bad stretch, and you're angry he got you the last time you rostered him or something like that. But and of course you can't roster Ohtani because it's only been 5 years trying to figure out the roster Ohtani as a hitter when he's pitching. I mean, I'm not a tech guy or whatever, but I feel like there should be a solution to this. Let's just call him a different name, do something plug in a different player and say hitter. whatever. No, I'm not going to go on my little rant.
Yeah, it's amazing they haven't figured out how to do this. And there's some like optimizers that have trouble when there's like similar names and players, like when one scrub, like Luis Garcia, he's a hitter for the Nats, always ends up messing up the projection for Luis Garcia, the pitcher, on the nights that they play. Or Max Muncy from I think he's in the A's system. There's another
a pitcher named Max Muncy?
No, there's another Max Muncy who's in the minors.
There's two Will Smiths.
Yeah,
there's a relief pitcher.
Yeah. It's amazing we can't get all these things fixed.
Herbert in chat saying Varsho better than Trout. How dare you? So it's funny you mentioned it, Kirk Tees, because my two lineups, right, on FanDuel, and I'm like, I love this. And it was 4-man pirate stacks surrounded by all the best power one-offs. And they're all not playing now.
I'm running one lineup on FanDuel today, and that's all I'm playing. And it's currently a 4-man stack with 4 one-offs on it. And it was a 4-2-1-1, and I had to adjust with no Trout, but it's currently now a 4-1-1-1.
I got a quick thing for the chat. If you guys are riding with me, I want everybody to hit the dislike button until I get my wrench back, because this is ridiculous. So if I'm gonna just start typing, if there's no wrench there, hit that dislike button for me, would you?
We almost got 150 people watching, so every 50 likes, we got a Spidey bump.
Do we officially know why? Did you get a lecture as far as how you?
No one, not a word.
And why is the wrench so important to you? Do you just feel
it's
like you
need respect
that
thing? I want you have a wrench. TJ, I'm sure, has a wrench. Andre's in there with a wrench. TJ
just deleted your message in chat. TJ's
with my wrench.
We might have Kirk Tees just walk off in the show at some point. That is disrespectful, right in your face.
Somebody in the chat asked me if I was choosing violence on stream today, because I did on the morning grind this morning. I sort of accidentally started going at Stevie, accidentally started going at Grant, and now here we are deleting Chris's chat. So this is fun. I'm abusing my power a little bit, but it's enjoyable. I can't say I hate it.
Well, Kirk Tees, to be fair, notoriously abused his power when he ran the the poker room. What was it called? The poker club. You were like the king. And my understanding is that you
didn't abuse my power whatsoever.
You kick people out, like just
of course. Who I was protecting players. It was a ton. You know how many messages I used to get a day of people that they were complaining about? Like, we had poker pros in there. And that wasn't a place for poker pros. It was for DFS players who wanted to play poker, right? Like, no pros allowed. That was always the and so I'm a man of integrity. And so if there were pros infiltrating, we had to let them go. And then some of them made like 20 to 30,000. So like they got paid, very well for their time in there. So
follow-up question: what was your avatar in that Discord?
Get this man a wrench.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Right? I've been here how many years?
You're rent's worthy. Well, you had it. You just had it rescinded. Somebody reconsidered because I don't know. I'm not really sure what happened, but somebody thought better of it. I know nothing about it.
It was producer Steve who's missing today. So maybe the powers that be got fed up about him taking away my wrench and they fired his ass. I don't know. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
I do not know the backstory, but yeah. Well, hopefully we get. They're doing a hashtag. Get this man a wrench in the chat. I don't know if Devin can make this work. If it'll appease you, but we're gonna do.
Look, it's no coincidence that producer Steve is not here, and I will not be recommending any Mets players today.
There you go.
I mean, Mets aren't on the slate, but
yeah,
conspiracy continues. It's not me. It's producer Steve.
Wow, Herbert got a wrench.
They'll give it to just anybody but Kirk Tees. Maybe he got yours. We hit capacity. There's no more available, and that's that.
My man Herb. we're still salty from our Celtics futures bets.
Well, there's next year, I suppose. All right. So TJ, your thoughts as far as the slate as an overall, is that the popular thing? Because people just love the stack and that's that. But are people, and I know you're a big stacker, obviously, and I understand why people do it, especially on FanDuel with the correlation. It's correlation everywhere, but even it's enhanced there. But was 4-2-1-1, 4-1-1-1-1-1? Was that going to be a popular route people are going to take?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like, it wasn't by design. It wasn't planned. It's just when I'm looking specifically on FanDuel today, the second and third base positions are ones that I don't really love. And so because of that, I just found myself getting to a few one-offs in that spot. And yeah, it is what it is. There's some specific guys that I like a bit more than the field at those positions. And I just found myself gravitating towards them. And I'm excited about this slate. It's a fun one for tournaments because I don't think anyone should get high ownership today. And we're seeing a lot of people go to the Cubs. We're seeing a lot of people going to Rodon and Ohtani. So I think it's a fun way to differentiate in tournaments.
I did not understand. I think the Cubs, last I saw, let me double check, they were the number one team consensus rankings. I did not get it. I didn't get it. Like, I think they're kind of in that bucket, I suppose. And I know Eichhoff has been horrendous, and he's throwing baseballs today professionally in the major leagues. And we haven't seen that all season long. We've seen him not very little, and he wasn't good in the minors either. So I suppose that's what's going on there. But TJ, I don't get the Cubs as a popular stack. Like, sure, they're in the bucket, but if they're going to be chalk, I think it's bad chalk.
I agree with you. Like, so I get why they're popular. They project well. It's good weather. It's a terrible pitcher. It makes sense. But at the same time, this is still not that fantastic of an offense. Like, in my lineup currently, I'm getting to some Ian Happ. But I have a lot of places I'm differentiating elsewhere that I'll be getting sneaky. But to me, I agree with you. I think as a team, as a full stack, they're bad chalk, and there's a few other. They could definitely do well. They have the best matchup on the board, but like, we don't have a single team over a 5 total today, and
Well,
like, there should be no chalk.
Did the Angels dip since Trout being out? I assume it dropped under 5.
Maybe I saw them at 4.9 something before Trout got taken out even. So there should be no chalk for hitters today. And because there is, I just feel like I want to go out outside of that. The Cubs are in a good spot, but not that good of a spot in comparison to anybody else. And for pitching today, I'm actually kind of excited because I saw somebody in the Discord chat asking my favorite GPP pitcher for FanDuel. It's time to play the game, Dean, because nobody said him yet.
Well, Charlie Morton was mentioned. I thought he might be the guy because, like, he's had a real spike in Ks of late. I think 30 or so or 29 his last 3 starts, one of which was in Coors.
Not even. I'm only playing one, but even if I was playing more, not in the pool.
So if he wasn't said, Kirk Dees are going to play along as well. You know what? I think I know who it is. I think it's Tarek Skubal.
No, I like Boston today a lot.
Is Jordan Montgomery? That's who it is.
Not a chance.
Charlie Morton.
Nope.
What's the question too? What
my favorite GPP pitcher today on FanDuel.
On FanDuel, let me see this.
This is very FanDuel specific.
I mean,
I
Ohtani's
like
the
him on
chalk,
DraftKings, and I love him on FanDuel.
It's not Kirby, I don't think, because Kirby is the clear SB2 on DK. It could be Eric Lauer.
We got somebody on the slate with a high strikeout rate facing a team without their best hitter who has gone.
It's Lynch.
McKenzie.
It's Tristan McKenzie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight games of at least 6 innings. Knock on wood here. Tristan McKenzie, I like a lot. He's got a really long leash. He's got a high strikeout rate, and they don't have Buxton in the lineup today. I liked him already. I love him without Buxton. He's my top guy for tournaments today on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's more expensive, and you don't get that same strikeout boost. So I don't like him as much on DraftKings. On DraftKings, I like the idea of going one of Rodon, Ohtani. If you want to get up to both, sure. But I like the lower tier guys like George Kirby and Paul Blackburn, Michael Wacha, Daniel Lynch. And then on FanDuel, another guy that we haven't we brought up a bit on DraftKings, but he's got a way better FanDuel price in DraftKings is Shane Baz. I like him as a tournament guy there.
Not sure if Leon in chat is behind, but yeah, we just talked about Trout not being in the Angels lineup. You know, the most interesting thing I saw about McKenzie today, and I was looking at him as well, and of course it matters that Buxton's not playing, but I like Buxton, and it was weird. He was plus 175 in sports books to hit a homer today, which is an insane number because McKenzie, he's a good pitcher. You're right. He's fine. But when he gets
big fastball guy,
fly ball guy, he's the number one fly ball guy in all of baseball. If you look, it's weird because if you look at our plate IQ stuff, look at Fangraphs, it's a little bit different. I don't really know what they define or qualify as fly balls, but McKenzie, pitchers that qualify, his fly ball rate was like 6 or 7% higher than the next highest guy, like 55%. So yeah, he gives up fly balls, he gives up homers, but like he's also like pretty good. And like you said, the matchup certainly has helped with the absence of Buxton. You got Larnick in there, which is awesome for him. Gordon in there, which is awesome for him. Just a ton of Ks. Of course, Arise is really annoying. He's actually shown a little bit more power this year, but he doesn't strike out. And
like you got to riot. Like the top of the lineup is pretty scary, but the nice thing with him too is he's actually a bit reverse splitsy as well, and they have 5 lefties in the lineup. So I really, really like this spot for Tristan McKenzie today. I got 1 lineup, and he's my pitcher.
Yeah. Well, the tricky thing is, it's like, well, how are you spending your money? Well, you're probably going to spend it on no Riley, no Austin Riley. If you're thinking like every team took a hit. If you're going to stack Baltimore, there's no Mullins. If you're going to stack Atlanta, there's no Riley. If you're going to stack Minnesota, there's no Buxton.
This has definitely decreased the Angels for me because you can't play Ohtani. There's no Trout, so like they're not a stack now. It's just Taylor Ward is a great value one-off, and that's about it. Having said that, I really like Atlanta. I really like St. Louis, and I really like Boston. Those are 3 teams that are pretty pricey. They're not picking up a ton of ownership. Boston's getting, I think, up the appropriate amount for how much they should. But like Atlanta and St. Louis, those are 2 teams I like quite a bit.
And the weird thing is, Skubal is a good pitcher, and you like Boston, and Rodon is a really good pitcher, and you like Atlanta. And I get it again because this slate is so wide open and. There's nothing great. There's not one team. Certainly, there's no team where I'm like, well, I can't imagine not having pieces of this team. I'm fine fading any team. If I'm making one lineup, don't care. Jump in here, Curtis. Your thoughts on McKenzie? I do think he's interesting. The downgrade of Buxton being out obviously matters.
This slate's he's nothing crazy tonight. I wouldn't call him a high strikeout pitcher. 22.4% on the season, but he has it in his range of outcomes to be a high, strikeout pitcher. His fastball is not very fast. He throws like 92, 93, and he was down a tick in his last game. However, he did have a really good start in Coors. I do like he's going to be completely unowned tonight, I think. So I do like the play, and I do think he has strikeout upside. I do like the fact that Buxton's out of the lineup. I do think could be a good spot for him. So I'm on board. I like the call, but I do worry a little bit about the upside.
And this season as well, he's down. His strikeout rate is down this season. It was 25 and 26% last year, but even this year, it's 24.8% to left-handed batters. You got Kirilloff with a 40% strikeout rate, Larnack with 33%, Gordon 25, even Jeffers from the right side at 32. So. Outside of Kepler and Arise, there's a lot of really high strikeout bats in this lineup.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Angels and Jesus. I know Ohtani is a good hitter, right? 2 homers last night, and they wasted it. They still lost. What a horrible organization. But Ward, Ohtani, Rengifo, David McKinnon, which I'm not even certain. You guys have you seen this? Is this a real person, David McKinnon? Have we seen a proof of life? Max Stassi, Matt Duffy, Marsh, Lagares, Velasquez, it looks so bad when you can. And then Walsh is not in there either. Obviously, the left on left. Man, that lineup is horrific for I don't know how you stack the Angels today. Don't know how you do it. You can. You can absolutely play Lynch. I agree with Kurt Diaz there. He's somebody I like quite a bit, especially on DraftKings where he's super cheap. But even on FanDuel, if I was playing lots of lineups, he'd be in my pool. Pistol Pete says it's wicked hot in Georgia right now. He's after your heart there, Kurt Diaz, with the wicked. 95 degrees.
He's got to be from here.
You don't say that though, do you? I feel like you don't say that.
No, I don't have a Boston accent either.
Yeah, is that something you actively try to ditch, or for whatever reason you just didn't get?
No, I'm originally from the western part of the state, and we don't speak like that.
Okay,
we speak normal. We speak normally.
Well, I'm confused by what he's saying because he's saying it's wicked hot in Georgia right now, 95 degrees for a spin.
We do use the word wicked where I'm from, though.
Yeah, it's wicked is like the East Coast version of hella, I think, sort of.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And then he says load up on Morton.
Well, he corrected himself and said stack against him.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, I didn't see that. Thank you.
I like the Giant stack more than playing Morton. I don't really like either, but if I'm
But you like the
one,
Brave
I like
stack
the
more than the
Giants.
Giant stack.
Yeah.
Which again takes a hit because they got Phil Gossel in there today. Who I don't think I knew he was a Brave. Has he been a Brave for a while? It's just when did this happen?
He was so good. I know it was the Cubs, but he was so good in his last start that I get it, and I sure stack against him, but I just have a feeling that he goes out and dominates this game, even in this weather.
Yeah, but I'm fine stacking Atlanta, and my bold call today was that the Braves were going to be the highest scoring team in the slate. Nobody scores double digits, but they're going to score nine runs. By the way, my favorite player was Mike Trout. So I said basically Devers is a bad matchup. Maybe we'll go Buxton. Soto's got some weather, so Trout's going to last man standing. But none of those guys have been playing. It seems like we'll see about Soto. The weather appears to look a little bit better. By the way, I just checked. Roth did update Baltimore. It's yellow orange. I did drop that in chat. I'll drop it.
So all these, whoever the top 3 bats are on this slate are going to be insanely overowned.
Who are those 3 guys?
I don't know.
Is it going to be Acuna, or are people going to still play Acuna because of the money?
Let's figure it out, because it's everyone, every stack is cheap, and pitching for the most part. Okay, so if you like. If a lot of people share your sentiment that they like the Giants that in this weather, they like the Braves in this weather, then Rodon is going to be less owned than what he normally would be. And so it's going to be a lot of Kirby. It's going to be a lot of there's just a lot of salary. And so it's just every optimizer is going to plug in Wilson Contreras at catcher. Who else is who's a high price? Jose Ramirez is going to get steamed.
I think this is actually going to lead to us seeing a lot more Rodon ownership, because there aren't a lot of batters to pay up for. And so most of our best batting plays right now are cheapies. They're value plays. There's some guys like Jose Ramirez up there for sure, but most of the top bats today are value plays. So I think this is going to end up leading to us seeing Ohtani and Rodon, even though they're the 2 best plays on the slate. I think they're going to be heavily over-owned because people have salaries, so they're going to play them.
Coming into the day, I thought Ohtani Kirby was the super, super obvious pairing on DK. Ohtani's underpriced at 8.5. Kirby.
Well, that's because you read Cheese's article.
Yes, I could not piece that together myself.
Thank you for admitting.
That was the pairing that Luch and I chose on the morning grind last night too. So Cheese copied us.
So are you saying that Cheese is getting his content from you?
I'm choosing violence all over the place today. We went Stevie, we went Grant, we went Steve, producer Steve on this show, and now we're going at the man himself, Cheese. Everybody's taking my content. It's plagiarism.
I believe
Grant
he'll be on
called
later.
something a turd bomb the other day, trying to steal my Spidey bomb. Come on.
There was nothing funnier than when we were in COVID, in the middle of COVID, when Run Pure opened up and Big T had the NASCAR plays, and we made we just copied Stevie's little marketing piece, and we put Big T's face on there, and it was hilarious.
Okay, was that what Twitter account? But the Corona Twitter account?
Yes.
Which I don't know. Is that still active? Is that? I think it's
rare. It's rare. It's when Chop and I don't have the balls to tweet it out ourselves. We'll go there and hide it, behind there.
Yeah, you said you were working on your power ranking Deans and making me laugh.
We were going to, and then we cooled off. Cooler.
Didn't you call me out at the beginning of the show for potential Twitter burners, and now we find out it's you who, in fact,
no, I mean this is not a burner. This is not a burner, but it could be used like a burner. So you are correct a little bit.
So under that, whoever says it first, and that's it. And everybody else is stealing from that one person. And maybe Cheese stole from you guys. Who knows? I think he'll be on later. You guys can call him out to his face. I wouldn't. We wouldn't recommend it. I'm sure that's not what's happening. But again, super, super obvious. And you can just run some optimals. You would have figured out Ohtani and Kirby with a pairing on DK. It's another way to do it. Is that going to change?
How dare he write up the 2 highest projected point per dollar players? After I also pointed out that they're the 2 highest projected point per dollar players. That is fishy.
It is. It's suspicious. I've been saying for years that there's something going on there. We're building a case, so one day at a time. So, like Kirky's on DK, you got 4-3 per stick. If you want Ohtani and Kirby, is that like, are we going to stick with that and just kind of spend up on guys like Acuna and like Aaron Judge is playing baseball? You could always play him if the spot is bad. If that Soto game is good to go, I think Soto's going to get a ton of popularity, assuming weather is good enough. But like, is that going to happen, or are people just going to say, screw it, I'm going to get off Kirby and go double barrel with like Rodon or Morton?
Well, there's going to be both. There's some players there's the sophisticated players who are going to figure this out, and they're going to exploit everything, and they're going to win. And I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you're the sophisticated player. Tell me how to.
No, they're not in mass entry. They're like the best of the best, and then there's going to be people who are like, okay, I control my pitcher pool, but then I use stacks and I and I put a little randomness in and let it all take care of itself. So they're probably going to be more cognizant to tone down Rodon a little bit. They're going to have to do it themselves. Then there's people who do it vice versa, with just like, they let the pitching is so predictable. So let's just use the pitchers that it gives us, and then I'll control the batter. So I think you're going to see like a mix of it. So I think I think Rodon will be over-owned than what he should be, but he also has the highest upside on the slate, because you look at this Atlanta, right? Atlanta, they K a lot, right? And this is he's a high K pitcher, 30%. Over 30% on the seasons, even with a couple of bad games in there. So he's really he ramped it up. He's back on track. Atlanta's 6th highest K percentage against lefties, but they're 1st in ISO. They're 3rd in WRC plus. It's no secret they're a lineup that you look at. They're all their big bats are in platoons against lefties, right? So it's this game, each side. So Rodon has the highest upside as a pitcher, but like the Braves stack also has a high upside.
Play both sides of it.
Yeah.
I'm refreshing our ownership stuff now. I'm curious where we're at. DK wise, so it's kind of reflective. I think Ohtani now is at 52%, which is a monster number. But again, he's 8.5K. This Kansas City team is not an amazing strikeout matchup, but they are not good against right-handers. And they're without their best power bat. Sal Perez is dealing with a thumb, so he cannot play baseball tonight.
And him being a lefty kind of takes away their or no, he's a righty. Sorry.
Yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, hits lefty, throws righty, which it messes with me too. Because I have the double.
What's the stolen base ratings on this game? They don't have it readily available, so you have to do the extra step that I never do to go and look.
Well, who are you thinking about? Who's easy to steal on? Ohtani?
Well, no, I want to know how hard it is to steal on Ohtani.
I'm not certain top of the head, but I guess you can go ahead and check. And I believe they pair the catcher with the 2 sometimes. It's a combination as far as the battery. But
I hit premium reports. Let's see. It's got
7 likes away from a Spidey bomb. Everybody, come on, let's hit it. And let's get rolling. I want at least to get 2 out of here on the show at 50 and at 100.
Yeah, we'll knock out. We'll get to we can get to 100 before we yield to the crunch time. I think it's Potts.
Let's see.
Well, go ahead.
How many get those dislikes up, everybody? Still got no wrench.
I think the I don't know this to be certain, but I feel like a thumb either way, I think, is good for interaction, which is a weird. My understanding is the algorithm likes it either way, which seems like an odd thing. But Kirkwood, you just got deleted. DJ keeps zapping you in chat.
Yeah, but what zapping what? My HJ?
I don't know. You said something and he zapped it. I didn't see it fast enough.
Inappropriate.
No, what's inappropriate is taking away my wrench.
Is he giving more spoilers in chat? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm just typing like just random letters.
It is inappropriate to touch Kirkwood's wrench.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stolen bases, by the way, against Ohtani, not a lot. 244 in his career as far as innings, and my quick UCF math, 6 stolen bases he's given up in his life. 3 this. Okay. Yeah, so if I'm counting, no, 3, just 3 in total.
So he's got to be good. That tones down some of the problems for KC's at their best when they're running all over the base paths.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Stassi is as a thrower, but like he's only given up 3 stolen bases, and a lot of it's on the timing. Obviously, the pitcher to home. Sometimes the batter can save you. We know Syndergaard just doesn't matter. Like he's setting the catcher up, as a loser essentially. He's got no shot.
I can't understand how he's gone this far with not being able to correct that.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, just maybe does he have like a long body? I feel like he's kind of tall.
I mean, he's got a really slow motion. That's his.
Yeah.
But like you would think they would have worked on that. But
I'm sure somebody tried to speed him up, but it just never worked.
It's helpless.
I would imagine.
We have hit the light goal. We've smashed it. We're even getting closer to our second one already. First Spidey bomb of the day, Nolan Arenado. I like St. Louis quite a bit today, either as a stack or Arenado as a one-off. I like him quite a bit. Spidey sealed the deal on it. He likes him as well. Nolan Arenado is hitting a bomb today.
I originally had him as my favorite tournament play, and I think I moved the
Did
buck.
you put the Spidey hat on? You got to put it on.
I didn't put the helmet on. I did when you guys were talking, though. I pulled one of these.
Okay.
What is Saints football? Is that New Orleans Saints? Is that what's going on?
No, Saints basketball. This was my high school.
Oh, okay. Represent.
This was my high school team, the Saints, and then it's the same logo, just blue. And then I coached there for a few years afterwards. So
you were player coach?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So
we just people want to know in chat, do we know anything about O'Neill Maverick Cruz? Did you guys know that's just his nickname, Maverick?
It's funny because I ran a little Twitter thing today to try to get a nickname for him. Apparently he already had one, which I wasn't aware. But the best example, I said I'll give somebody the RG premium. And you know what? I'll go ahead and drop my tweet in chat. And if you think you can top it, by all means, fire away. But there's been a couple of good ones. So I wish you.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So I was asking to basically give him a new nickname, and Napster Man, who works here, I'm sure he already has RG Premium. He answered this like in 20 seconds. By the way, it was phenomenal. He pounced right away, and now if I can find it, I'm trying to find my mentions. He called him it was a reference to Top Gun. It was
Maverick.
No, it wasn't Maverick. A tall stop was pretty good too. That was a good. That was a good example. Again, if you guys can beat this, by all means, 1 week free RG Premium. Just give us a nickname. You got to respond in the Twitter. Don't respond in the chat because I'm not going to be bouncing around all over the place. But Tall Glass of Kick Ass. How do you feel about that one? That's pretty good, right? He's 6'7". Anybody? Long. It's a little long, but Tall Glass of Kick Ass. And the one Napster put in there was Top Gun. You're basically stealing that. You call him Maverick. But he called him Top Gun because he's got.
I didn't make that's his nickname. I didn't make it up, Dean.
Well, there's somebody in chat named.
It's on Wikipedia page.
Somebody in chat, a username is Naked HD. They're not spamming the chat. It's just their name. And somebody had to change their name, right? Is that what's going on there? Somebody having a good time.
I love it. Shout out to Naked HD.
That is another one of Kirkwood's burners.
No, I'm just an affiliate. We've already made this clear.
You get a kickback, 10-20%, give or take?
It's good pay. Even though it's cheap, they don't treat their affiliates cheaply.
Top Gun. What do you think of that, TJ? Is that the best nickname for Cruz? Did you prefer Tall Glass Kick-Ass? Can you beat that?
He's got a gun too. He's got a laser.
Oh yeah.
So, it should be laser or something.
It's pretty phenomenal.
I'm still I'm less worried about his nickname and more trying to figure out if I want to keep him in my lineup or not. I just put together a 4-4 stack that I liked quite a bit, so now I'm reconsidering.
He's going to be 35, 40% owned, something crazy, because he's leading off today. And again, we have money to play with. So maybe one thing we can do today, TJ, is spend up at shortstop and just not play him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, is deciding, do I want Cruz and Trevor Story as one-offs here on FanDuel, or do I want to make it Swanson and Arcia and just turn it into an Atlanta stack?
See, that's another. Trevor Story is going to become massive chalk because he's like the high-priced second baseman.
And he's not even a great play.
I know he's like batting sixth,
Fine.
and he strikes out every at bat, but he crushed one yesterday.
But also, I mean, Screwball's pretty good. Like again, it's just not spectacular, but you have the money, so maybe you might as well. By the way, we have 10% on Cruz on FanDuel right now as far as ownership. That's wrong.
I just wanted to clear up Naked HD being here in chat. So this is really a representative. This is the CEO of Naked HD, and I actually told them about your mustache.
Okay.
And so they're here watch. So they want to actually offer you sort of like an OnlyFans type account. So you guys need to speak in the.
Why are you the middleman? Why do you get some action?
Because I get an affiliate piece because I recommended it.
No, but I don't want you to. I want whatever the cut is. I want that cut.
It's too late. Trust me. You're gonna be rolling in it. Don't worry about it.
The other thing I want to get in quick is I don't fully agree with the Trevor Story's not that good of a play today. Like Screwball dating back to last year, he gives up over a 200 ISO to right-handed batters, and Story has a 300 ISO against left-handed pitchers. So it's a pretty darn good spot for Trevor Story today.
Okay, but like as opposing pitchers go, Screwball's not in the top like 30% you want to attack is kind of the point I'm making.
And he's a high strikeout guy, and Trevor Story is a high strikeout bat. However, this is the same situation as the Braves. It's high, there's a lot of upside each way. He could strike out 4 times, he could double dong tonight. So he's got the upside for sure.
And the other part of it is that, and I guess TJ, you'll probably talk about this, right? And we'll go around the horn and we'll do that whole deal, but second base as a whole is just not very good.
Yeah.
Like who's the pivot away from
exactly. That's exactly it. That's why I'm having trouble getting off of him, is because my pivot that I'm looking right now is Orlando Arcia.
He's in my dummy right now. Trevor Story.
Yeah. So like again, if it's not a bad, it's like bad chalk, I think, if he's going to be like heavily owned, and I concentrate mostly on single entry, 3 entry stuff, that kind of thing. And I imagine you're just going to have the money for it. So I guess you play him, but maybe you shouldn't, is sort of where I'm at. I didn't mean to say like don't play him, but if the ownership gets too high, I like Baez on FanDuel at 2.8 against Waka. I'm good with that. We saw he finally hit the ball a couple times yesterday and almost double donged. I don't know. Well, we'll go around the horn soon enough, TJ, but feel free to complete your thought as far as Story.
No, that basically was it. I do think he's a very good play, but yeah, if he does end up getting quite chalky, we can look to pivot away, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case yet.
Let's finish off the pitcher conversation and just kind of see what we have as far as ownership there. On FanDuel, again, Ohtani, 33%, Rodon at 14%, Kirby more priced up there, so they're going to get less at 10%. Lauer, in theory, there's some K upside, but it's a pile of righties he's facing, 7%. Morton, it's hot, and San Fran's not a fun team to pick on, 7%. Montgomery's 9K. That Tampa lineup's obviously not very good, but Montgomery's just sort of fine. He's okay. He should be fine. Quality start, maybe. But, yeah, and I'm still scrolling down. And McKenzie at 8.6 is getting 1 or 2% here, and I like that call. You talked about it, and especially in single entry stuff, TJ, like you're on your own island, and it's fine, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I'm still kind of torn between if I care about getting off these chalky bats or not. Like my dummy lineup I have in there is almost like, it kind of feels like a half cash game, half tournament lineup. And with guys like Story, Acuna, and Happ in there, I just don't love it from a tournament standpoint, even though they feel like good plays, and I don't think I have to worry about it. So that's something I'm still torn on and am going to have to decide on crunch time.
Kirkwood, how many lineups do you plan on making tonight? Like on DK, just like one main lineup, or what's the story?
I made 2 lineups tonight.
Well, how much are we straying off as far as pitchers? Are we just going to go with the stuff that makes the most sense and maybe be a little different? I've
got chalk and pitcher. I will, if I make another one, I will use Daniel Lynch and try to get a little crazy. But no, I got chalk.
Get him in one of these 2. He's in a nice spot.
I'm probably gonna. I mean, I usually, let me see. So I just quickly entered the 250, where it's usually 4 max. I usually play that every night in 4 of them. So let me just register if it's. Oh my God, it's not even there anymore. Wow, there's like no contests up. There's only this stupid 888 that is 33. A third to first. I just can't play.
That millionaire one was a nice contest they had there.
I just can't play. I don't care. about the money. I just cannot click in anything that's a third to first.
I'm with you.
In a big, large entry, I will just never enter it. Like I will stand my ground.
Yeah, there's a rally, what the relay throw also like 30K up top, 10K to first. Like, nope, not playing it. The batter's eye, I'm in there for a couple for 88. It's 10% up top. That's where I'm playing Kurt D's. You playing there as well?
I'll throw one in there. I'll throw 2 in there now.
Yeah, that's a much better contest, my opinion.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably like the extreme the other way, right? The
10%. I think it's 5K out of 50K up top.
Yep, I like that.
Derek says you play the $1 contest. You can't enter the $1 contest anymore, can you?
I cannot.
No. Yeah. TJ, you probably surpassed that, I assume, right?
Yeah, $3 and up for me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. I don't think I'm restricted in any way on Yahoo. I'm fairly certain, but DK and FanDuel, I think it's.
I'm not restricted on Yahoo. I'm in the 25 cents for.
Would you like click the hit every button, or
I just click? I just hit them all. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even look.
Well, they got to keep Chopper out of those, though.
Yeah, that's just the funniest thing ever.
So give me the summary, and I was trying to see. I saw some names in chat, a couple pictures people threw out there that we didn't really talk about, and I assume we're not very interested in. I don't think we necessarily accidentally didn't say their names. Who was the pitcher that was kind of goofy? Oh yeah, somebody was asking about Keegan Thompson. I'm not playing Keegan Thompson. Anybody playing Keegan Thompson?
I don't mind him personally from like a talent standpoint, and I mean I had some good notes on him actually. I mean, so he had his best start of the season. It was 40% call strike whiffs on his four-seamer and cutter. He's got a decent pick. He's got some strikeout stuff in him. He struck out 9 Braves. I mean, this is so we're all every night. So last night again, and I said if you wanted, I was in chat, I was like, if you really want an off the play board, it was like Swarmer, right? I knew that would blow up. I knew he would probably not work, but it may have worked. And Keegan Thompson is an even better potential here against Pitt. You know, we're still we're all excited to play Pitt, right? Because O'Neal Cruz has brought so much energy to this new lineup. Yeah, Top Gun, the laser. But then there's that guy Madras, who
he's 2K on FanDuel as well.
Yeah, and he homered. And he's batting third. I mean, but this is still Pitt from a talent perspective. This is not a good lineup. This is also a lineup that will strike out. And it wouldn't shock me at all if he's a really solid low on play tonight. All right. I don't have him, but I could get on board. But man, I'm starting to think of tonight, if you want to get different, I know Lynch is different in itself, but if you play Ohtani and Lynch together, nobody does that. Nobody hits the nobody does the double. Not many people do the double pitcher same game.
All right, I'm updating my expert survey and passing along some messages because everybody I liked is not playing baseball tonight, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to do a double duty on the fly here. If you're checking out the expert survey, some of the players that I had listed right now.
Is Cheese in there?
I'm just in the Slack channel, and somebody's gonna pounce on top of it. He did.
I was gonna say just copy and paste his whatever he wrote and just put it next to yours.
He just swapped his optimal hitter to Wilson Contreras for what it's worth, and he said he redid his blurb. I don't have time to write a blurb, but I just swapped my optimal hitter. You know who it's to? Screw it. I put O'Neal Cruz. That's it. Dude's batting leadoff. He costs nothing. And there's absolutely great reasons to not play him in tournaments. For the record, by the way, you know how the stupid whatever, I'll embrace it. The 10% thing about me, 100% Cruz the last 2 days and all my lineups. And I played more.
That you're not max. So if you're max entering, that's where you can say that. You know what I mean? If you locked him in a max,
I played 8 lineups.
Big difference. You know.
All right, fair. Yeah,
I mean, I you know who I locked last night, and I felt like an idiot.
Who's that?
Strider. I was oh, I got a little too much Strider. Once he gave up the bomb.
Last night was a bad night to have the mustache because Strider's got that mustache power. It hit midnight. Nestor Cortez, his mustache is fading as well. I lost money in DFS. It was not a good night for your boy over here. It was a bad night for mustaches, but
my highest scoring team last night had Jordan Lyles on it.
I got in my single entry, so I played in the single entry stuff. So I played Storm and Norman Gorman, and Shohei. So I had a decent night.
Oh yeah,
I was Olsen and Shohei together, so I had a decent night as well.
Yeah,
but,
Olsen
pitching didn't do it.
My other lineup had Olsen. I did a Brave stack, but I didn't have Storm and Norman. I had
Donovan. That's where I was at. Yeah,
big. We call him Big D Donovan, but
who calls him that?
Big Meat Donovan.
Big Wrench Donovan.
No,
Big Hammer Donovan.
That's Pete Alonso you're talking about, isn't it?
No, I mean, but
everybody doesn't have a meat-related nickname.
that's in nowadays, Dean.
Well, why not? If it is, at least give it to Vogelbach, right? Like if anybody deserves it.
I played him last night. Yeah.
The announcers yesterday went wild when he tagged up. He was like on second base. There's a deep fly ball right.
I wanted Grant to lose his when he was touting the stolen base under on Daniel Vogelbach.
Oh, that was the best. Yeah.
I mean, this even though I don't want it, I don't want Grant to lose money. I like Grant. Grant's a great guy. He's a good friend. However, I kind of wanted him to lose that bet.
I love that big setup in that. However, I want him to lose $35,000. Yeah, he was betting Vogelbach to not steal a base and laying like $3,500 to win 50 or something like that. Yeah, it was, which is a great bet. I think he's had 0 in his career. I'm pretty sure he's never stole a base. Maybe on the back end of a double steal, maybe he can get there or something like that. But yeah. But I'm going to let Grant know you're rooting against him actively.
No, I'm not. It was. I take it all back.
Give me the summary, TJ, as far as pitchers.
It hasn't changed on FanDuel. It's Tristan McKenzie's my top guy for tournaments. Rodon up top, and I like Shane Baz at the bottom. But it'd be a pretty tight pool for me. My top 5 are Rodon, Ohtani, McKenzie, Lynch, and Baz. On DraftKings, I like getting one of the top 2 between Ohtani and Rodon, and then I like the bottom tier of Kirby, Blackburn, Michael Wacha. I like the 6 to 7K range quite a bit on DraftKings, and also of course Daniel Lynch, who's all the way there at the bottom.
Kirk D, same deal. I know you're kind of repeating yourself, but we've been on the air for a while, and some people kind of come in and out throughout the show. Maybe they missed your favorite, so.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean for that to come off like terrible question, Dean. That was more me just gathering my thoughts. Only 23 away from another Spidey Bomb. We got over 250 people watching, leading into a free crunch time sponsored by FanDuel. So hit the like button and let's get another Spidey Bomb in before these guys get here.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to make it like I'm listening. Trust me, I hear you, and I know I'm asking the same question kind of again. I get it. I'm sorry, but I'm still going to ask it just because, Kirk Dees, we haven't talked to you about pitching yet, right? Could you give me the summary as far as your favorite pitchers today?
I'd be happy to for the new people that haven't along the whole show. So
I don't give this guy a wrench. Keep his wrench away.
Top play is Shohei Ohtani. The second top play is high risk, high reward. I mean, he's a great pitcher, as Rodon. But you certainly can play some Atlanta stacks against him. George Kirby and Ohtani will be the chalk pairing most likely. I like it. I'm embracing chalk. If I want to get different tonight, the guy I really like is Daniel Lynch. I really like, if you really want to get different in your lineup and have a bunch of chalky bats and whatnot, I like Ohtani and Lynch together. I don't think that it will be played much. And then I agree. Shane Baz is interesting, but the pitch count is a little concern, and the matchup is a concern as well. But I could get down with a little of that. Charlie Morton, I have no problem playing. He may blow up because of this weather, but same thing as Rodon. He looked so good in his last game that I like him as well.
By the way, our ownership has changed. We talked about Noah Cruz not leading off, and what a salary saver he is. He's now at 31% on FanDuel. I knew that would change at some point. 29% on DK, and we know how stuff kind of rises chalk rises in single entry and 3-entry max, so don't be surprised if it's even higher than that. Curtis, you kind of touched on it throughout the show as far as stacks as well. And yeah, I'm going to go up and pull up our consensus rankings. It is Baltimore number 1, the Cubs, Pittsburgh. Look at these teams. This is just like forgetting everything. Like Baltimore, the Cubs, and Pittsburgh are the 3 best stacks. Like what else do you need to know? Then Milwaukee, Angels that don't have, and that might, I don't know if people are going to go back and update that, but obviously they've lost some appeal in the absence of Trout. You can't even roster Ohtani. St. Louis got a little bit of love. Minnesota got some love, and like they're probably going to fall back as well with the absence of Buxton. And then there's Atlanta. I was the only one that ranked Atlanta. I copied nobody, Curtis. I was my own man. I put Atlanta on the board.
Well, sometimes you got to throw them off the scent a little bit.
They're getting too close. They're on to me.
Yeah.
I like the A's. Like, wait a second. Did Eric Johnson get a control of my? I never liked the A's. Yeah. Do you agree with that sentiment? Baltimore being number 1, the Cubs, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee. This is what we're looking at, man. It's not great.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love the O's too, and I didn't realize that they're going to be the massive chalk. Corbin is just a disaster. He just looks awful out there. The bullpen behind him is a disaster. They're top. They're the 4th lowest rated for xFIP. Their bullpen also 4th in home runs per 9 on this slate. So I try to look at both of those numbers for bullpens I want to attack. Washington fits the bill. Let me check my weather. Oh, so the problem is we have to wait a little bit about weather. We know it's going to be humid for sure, but the heat, it takes some heat to get that going. It's not very hot, but but I'm on board there. That game should blow up. Could completely blow up each side of it. Cubs look good just because Eichhoff is just so bad, and also that's another extremely attackable bullpen. It's crazy. Then there's I've been saying Lynch, but and then I wanted to play some Angels, but you can't. How can you play Angels? I guess maybe
I don't know.
Someone's going to ship tonight with a Angels stack that doesn't have Ohtani and Trout. It's going to be Ward, Rengifo, and McKinnon.
Too.
It's not going to be me.
It's going to be McKinnon.
Yeah.
Big meat McKinnon.
No, he's not. We leave.
Oh yeah, that's his nickname.
By the way,
Duff Man. Then you got Duff Man down there. This.
Oh my god!
What a lineup!
It's terrible.
Man,
that's like when you show up and that's the spring training lineup. It's like, oh, okay,
go all in on Daniel Lynch. Somebody just Daniel Lynch it, every lineup.
What are the Blazers doing trading a 1st-round pick for Jeremy Grant? I'm confused. That doesn't make any sense to me. 2025 1st-round pick for Grant, and good job for the Pistons, but why Portland? He doesn't change things. I don't know. You guys just came across the old Twitter, but that doesn't make any sense to me. But and it's not even a great contract, I don't think. I think they overspent for him. That's weird. Pittsburgh does get the fire emoji. There is a fire emoji in Cincinnati, but that's not on the main slate. And we have nothing as far as historical data in Atlanta. We've never seen the likes of whatever's going on in Atlanta today. It's never been documented before. At least the life of this ballpark. It's been around for maybe 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. Your thoughts, TJ, as far as stacks before we move on and give our fair plays position by position?
St. Louis is my favorite tournament stack. I like Boston a lot. I like Atlanta a lot. And other than that, it's most of the ones that everybody else is on as well, like the Cubs, followed by Baltimore. But Atlanta, St. Louis, and Boston are my top 3 for tournaments.
All right, let's go around the horn, give our fair plays, position by position. Of course, same deal as always. You have to roster yourself a catcher on DK. You don't have to do so on FanDuel. I like Sanchez a little bit as a cheapie on FanDuel for what it's worth. He's got a pretty good price over there. Well, I'll go to you, Curtis. You have the salary for Wilson Contreras. He's facing Eichhoff, who well documented, hasn't been great, 4.8K. It's kind of pricey. But again, you have the money, and he's the best raw points catcher. I don't think that's disputable. Is that where you're going to go, or are you going to go elsewhere?
Yep, he's in my dummy at the moment. He's going to be massive chalk. It's because it's just so easy to put him in, and he's such a clear, better play than the others from a talent perspective and a matchup perspective. So he's the top one. I also like Adley Rutschman. Did finally homer. But I like this game in general to pop off. So he's up there. You could play Gary Sanchez. The funny thing, the weather, Roth's weather tool says a negative 13% home run rate in Minnesota.
Hit refresh. These things change. It's fluid.
It's fluid. Wow.
Weather is fluid. Yeah. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's
actually fluid is precipitation. Weather refers to the temperature.
Wow. Now it's up to 2.1%. It's a big change. So that's good.
Well, it's different than what you were saying.
Because my dew point model loves the hitting weather there.
The dew point's at 54. Is that optimal dew point for you?
Yes, with over 80 degrees in heat combination, and it's got an 8-mile-an-hour wind straight out the center. So my model loves it.
Somebody watched Bill Nye as a child. Look at you, man. I don't have any dew point takes. I just yield to Roth. Yeah. Do you have a second favorite catcher if you're not playing Contreras?
Rushman.
Rushman's the punt, right?
Yep. Gary Sanchez. You could play the other. You could play the Contreras' brother.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Ding, ding, ding. That's my guy. We're 98 likes away, 99, about to hit 100.
Is that the Spidey bomb too, or no?
William Contreras, Spidey bomb today against Carlos Rodon.
Well, look at that. That worked out perfect. Was that ad-libbed, or that was the guy you were sitting on?
No, I was Spider-Man. I saw we were getting close to 100, so I was just biting my tongue, waiting for somebody to mention the William Contreras so I could interrupt.
Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications so you know we go live. And if we get to 150, we do anything goofy at 150? Are we going to get to 150? Is that possible? I suppose we could. Theoretically, there's a couple hundred people, 300 people. You're looking at it right now, TJ. What do we promise the people at 150? What's going to happen?
TJ is going to get us
5 people watching.
Spider-Man tattoo.
Sure.
He might already have that.
Yeah, does he? Does he have it?
I don't know.
If we got to 150 likes and I can give Kirk D's the bill, I will get a Spider-Man tattoo.
What? Kirk D's, are you willing to? Kirk D's, you're loaded. You're doing well for yourself. You're willing to pay.
First of all, I'm not loaded. I got a baby on the way. This is not a good time. However,
look at that piano in the back.
I know. This is obviously the parents' place.
Wow, look at Devo just crushing that up on the screen already.
Man, I might do that if we can get a low grade artist, someone who's pretty crappy, and I'd pay for that.
We don't take advantage of the scroll enough, I feel like. We don't throw enough things up there. But the scroll is not working. We have all this fun technology here with StreamYard. If we get to 150 likes, do you have any tattoos at all, TJ?
None. 0.
MJ Melendez, I just want to get that on record against the little leverage play, as Cheese likes to say, against Ohtani.
Hold on a second. Kirk D's, Andre in chat, 2 things. He said that Jesse Winker is his home run today. And he said he's willing to go half with you, Kirk D's. He'll split it with you. That's it. We're good.
All right.
You don't even have to be loaded.
Can we pick where location if we're paid for
right on his forehead?
No.
I want a little tramp.
Right where Chop was going to be on
Spidey tramp stamp.
The conditions I'm willing to put on it would be that I get to choose what it is and where, but I would also try and make sure that it doesn't get too pricey.
Do you have to run this by the fiance, you think?
Nah, look at this office right now. You think she'd be mad about me getting something Spider-Man related?
I don't know.
Tramp stamp would be epic.
I'd probably get it somewhere right here, right on my forearm, something like that.
So if this thing wasn't happening, but hypothetically, if you ever thought about getting a tattoo, and if you did, what was in the conversation of the most likely to be the things that you would tattoo yourself?
So I'm a big just nostalgia guy, and I love all the same stuff now that I did as a kid. So I kind of always had something in mind of maybe a few different figures of whether it's a superhero or something I don't know off the top of my head, Pokemon, Lion King, something I liked as a kid. And then just putting a little never grow up underneath it, something like that. But I have a couple Spider-Man ideas.
In cursive,
Nah, no cursive, just a nice print.
All right.
Kirk, you don't have any tattoos, do you? Or maybe you do. I don't know.
No, I got a horrible one actually.
You got a what?
I got a horrible one from like when I turned 16 and I was able to get like an underground one. It was like,
Did you
it's
erase it?
small, it's stupid. No, I'll get it filled in eventually.
Okay. We're now
crazy. We're 27 likes away from a tattoo, and even Alan, shout out Alan, Fat Halpert is here in the chat. I've never seen him in the chat on one of my shows before.
He heard about the tattoo and he had to come. Like, yeah.
All right, let's get chat. Everyone, let's have this. Let's have this. All of us unite together. Let's do a GoFundMe for the tattoo.
Like it's gonna be what, like a couple $100? Like this isn't gonna be super pricey.
No, let's get it. But everybody wants to have a part of it, is what I'm saying. It's not about the money per se. It's more about all of us, Rotogrinders community involved. You know what I mean? Everybody owns a piece of you.
Andre says, "Am I the only one that has he has tattoos apparently?"
And then we make an NFT out of it. Somehow,
who else at RG has that? I mean, you don't really see anybody's like bodies. You don't really know.
Maybe me and Dre can get some matching Batman ones eventually.
Chop has a nice one.
Does he? What does Chop have?
He's got a rose and then the ace and two aces up his sleeve. It's funny.
What? Are you being serious? He's got aces up his sleeve?
Like, I mean, this guy used to be the bathroom attendant at a strip club, Dean. You don't think
What's the correlation with that?
You don't think he's got tats?
Let's talk about
15 likes from right here.
It's it's gonna happen. It's already people are the word is getting spread. It's for sure happening. So just go ahead and start picking out your favorite potential tattoo.
That's a really Peter Porker in chat said the tattoo needs to be Spider-Man hitting a bomb. That's not a bad idea. That's pretty good. Idea.
Let's knock out for now we're derailing the show and I got to get it back on task. First base, Kirk Tees, what do you have?
First base, we've got Trey Mancini. We've got Ryan Mountcastle. You can play Mancini in the outfield if you want, but both of them there. We've got Goldie, who just has been annihilating left-handed pitching. Lauer has been coming back down to earth. His velocity is way down and continues to be down. So he's been struggling a little bit. So I know TJ likes St. Louis, but Goldie is right up there. Rowdy Tellez is a home run, cheat play. Vogelbach. It's really anybody you want. The guy who let me down yesterday that I think should have a good game today is Josh Bell. But there's Matt Olson. I mean, it's literally you can play anybody you want here tonight.
Yeah, Olson's the guy you probably shouldn't leave out if you're Atlanta stack, if you're stacking some Atlanta stuff. And TJ, you can speak to that because you're talking about stacking Atlanta. You're making one lineup. Is Olson going to make it or no?
No, not for me today.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't hate the idea of keeping him in stacks by any means, but in my one lineup, he's not going to be on there. There's elsewhere I like to go at first. I really like Goldschmidt. Even some cheap, like to me at first base today, there's so many great plays. I think you can punt it, but you better punt it with a guy that is a home run hitter. I don't hate the idea of including a Bobby Dahlbeck or a Albert Pujols in a stack just because they have the platoons within a power spot, but I like Goldschmidt the most up top, and for me at first base today, it's just targeting specifically power hitters because there's so many of them at this position today. You're probably going to need somebody who hits a home run.
Got to mention Josh Naylor too.
Jump into second base. We kind of talked about Story a couple times already. You're going to have the money and certainly, big upside there for Story. I know you've had your issues with them sometimes, Kirk Dees, but pretty good price, 3.8 on Fanduel. I think he's less than 5K on DK. I like Baez as a cheapie as well. Don't hate VR, jack in a bag potential for sure. Second base, what are you doing here, Kirk Dees?
Yep, VR. It's crazy that he's going to be chalk though. And then Trevor Story, who's going to be chalky. Then anyone there just isn't much of anything working down below. I mean, you could get to Whit Merrifield, but you're playing against Ohtani. We also say he doesn't give up many stolen bases, so lower some of his up. I mean, it's just gross. Everybody else is just awful, right? I mean, what do we have? We got Storm and Nolan Gorman. No one's going to play after his monster night yesterday because of the lefty-lefty matchup. But he's 30 and he's down at 7 in the order. Man, I don't. I mean, it's gross. Like there's DJ LeMahieu. There's Urias. Urias will probably get some love, actually. He is going to be we're going to have a new play. When Chop's not on the show, it's going to be the Herbert Good BVP play of the day.
Okay, what do we have? What's the BVP?
Luis Urias, 2 home runs in 11 at bats.
Oh wow.
Milwaukee or
hits.
Minnesota?
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Hey,
wrong Luis Urias.
Did anybody call the hotline? Is the roof open again in Milwaukee? Do we know? Because yesterday, you got to call the hotline.
Lone Depot?
I don't think it's no. It's
Where's
like
Lone Depot? I saw that was open.
Lone Depot is Marlins.
Okay.
They have the side panels open as well, I believe. But Family something Park is what Miller Park is former Miller Park. Somebody let us know in chat if that's or we can Google. I suppose we have the Google machine. But I would assume it's open once again today as far as the roof, and it's hot in Milwaukee because it's hot everywhere. TJ, did you give your thoughts as far as second? My apologies, I don't recall.
I really don't like this position at all. Trevor Story is my favorite guy up top. Javi Baez is probably my favorite optimal guy for like on the cheap end. Ref Snyder's okay in a Boston stack, but I find myself getting to a bit of Arcia batting sixth as well. It's gross.
American
I like Story the
Family.
best. Out of him though, it's Baez or a stack.
All right, hot corner, third base. TJ, start us off.
Jose Ramirez is the top play. Him and Patrick Wisdom are going to be the chalk.
The tooth.
The tooth, of course.
Yeah.
The tooth,
Brain.
the brain. Jose Ramirez and Patrick Wisdom. That's going to be where everybody's going. I love Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado is my top play at this position. He's my favorite tournament play. That's going to be the guy that I'm getting to today.
Let me see if he's got some BVP going.
Historically, he's pummeled lefties. Obviously, we know lefty master. Yada yada yada. Yeah, I'm in on that as well. I guess people are gonna have the money for Ramirez, and like you can always play Ramirez, and Sonny Gray is not something we're running away from necessarily. What do you have as far as third base, Kirk Dees?
The same. I mean, so the Jose Ramirez is the top, the tooth, number 2 right there. Arias, you can also play at third. And then it just gets really bad, right? Like we start looking at guys like Tyler Nevin for cheap, but we don't need cheap anymore. We have too many cheap. Josh Donaldson, 3,800.
We need 7 likes in 7 minutes.
Oh, it's got to be before we get off air. You're adding the ball.
I'm putting the timer at 6:20 Eastern, 4:20 my time when the crunch time guys are due in. So you got 6 minutes for 6 likes to lock in the tattoo.
I mean, that still shouldn't be a problem.
I still can't believe that Cheese stole his content. We can't forget that. Cheese is
on and Grant with the turd bomb after Spidey Bomb's already in business.
You know what? I saw that and I thought it was despicable when I saw that.
Despicable. Absolutely just audacious.
Yeah.
And he wrote up Matt Olson, he's talking about Matt Olson, who was, of course, written up in the Agents of Fantasy free article yesterday. So
yeah.
Grant's probably doesn't even have his premium content. He's just checking out the free stuff and stealing the Spidey bomb and calling it a turd bomb. It's crazy.
So just to summarize, Turkeys, you want Grant to lose $35,000 and you called him despicable as well.
No, I love Grant. Grant and I are good friends.
Well, Grant, sounds like it.
We had a great time in Vegas. We were both there in Vegas.
That's right. You had a couple.
We went out to like a ridiculous meal, and he tagged along with me and my fiance to a show, one of those
like a Mysterio type thing.
Yeah, that's the show. That was the show. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I remember. I talked to Grant about this. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. This same trip, it was a different trip, but I ran into him in the back leg or the front end of that. But I have to be in Vegas as well with some other people.
We were sports betting too. It was fun.
By the way, people are losing their minds. You know the MLB home run Twitter account? You guys are aware of this, right? Anytime a home run happens, it lets you know automated homers. Grant's been doing this new thing where like in the morning, he just gives out, I like these guys the homer. It's like a 30-second, a minute video. And like people are outraged. Like, I'm going to unfollow. This is spam. People are so mad. Because this tweet happens one time a day and like when there's no baseball going on. It's just strange the things that people get upset about. You guys know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right? I think.
We hit it, hey?
Say it again?
We hit the number.
Oh, there you go. So it's official. We're getting let your fiance know.
As long as if she gets in while we're still on stream, I'll call her down.
Yeah, I was like, can we call her on air and like put her on the?
She's probably still at work. She's a teacher, so she probably won't be back for another 45 minutes ish. So I doubt it. But if she's back early, I'll call her down.
Isn't this basically it? We're done with school, aren't we? It's just like the last day. She's not doing any prep work.
They have 8 more days. They got to be in school till the 30th this year. It's ridiculous.
Hopefully you guys start later. I would hope so for your sake. But all right, let's jump to shortstop. We kind of talked about this. O'Neal Cruz is the clear and obvious chalk. He's going to get a massive number in ownership, especially in single entry, 3-entry max stuff.
I don't think people need him though, Dean. Like you could play Xander too.
You don't need him, but that's the first place. That's the first place people go to save salary. I think batting first. This is all Twitter keeps talking about him. They're giving him nicknames on Twitter. I think people are excited. But you can play Correa. I like Correa. He absolutely can hit a homer.
Oh, by the way, not only are you think that you're the authority on vegetables and fruits,
I do not think I'm the
but now then you go to cheese.
Oh yeah, I absolutely yeah. Well, I don't like cheddar. I don't like Swiss. I don't like American.
Cheddar is like an amazing cheese.
Cheddar's
I like a nice ricotta.
The one cheese that completely overrated is American. American cheese is just like the lowest in my.
Munster gets no respect. It's the least.
Munster's a great cheese. Munster's a versatile, great cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. Naked HD is tweeting in chat as well too. All right. So give me your best pivot away from Cruz at shortstop. What do you have, Kirkies?
I mean, well, you can play Javi Baez, who has been tearing it up at least yesterday in Boston. He's hot, right? He's heating up. He's hot, and Waka is not a high strikeout arm, so that plays towards his strengths. Correa is actually in the lineup, so it's like any of these higher priced guys that have home run upside could easily blow away Cruz tonight. So just pick any of these guys. So another one would be like, if you really want to get crazy, Dansby Swanson, who, against Rhode Island at 5,600 is just a clear misprice. But certainly, he has got a home run upside. Anybody with home run upside here, all these guys.
It's like playing Cronenworth at 6K, and he did homer, whatever, but forget the results. But nobody's going to play him because it's an absurd price. But again, like we keep saying, you do happen in the salary for it. By the way, I missed the plug. I missed talking about Spike Week. If you guys are playing, I wanted to make sure we get it in. Now, Devin's going to yell at me if I don't talk about Spike Week, spikeweek.com, the premier resource for best ball for any sport. Of course, football, best ball, people are talking about it. I think it's 79 days left. We do have draft kits for football, for baseball, for basketball, NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs when that comes around. There's golf best ball, which I was not aware of. So you get access if you happen to get yourself linked here on SpikeLeak.com. You get access to the best ball tools, including ADP tools, the draft IQ, which tells you your exposures across your draft. So check out SpikeWeek.com. Shortstops, TJ.
Wait, can I just say our one more bit we have going on here? Because I don't know how much time we have. We're going to be implementing with our new sponsor, Naked HD Dong Call. So the Naked HD Dong Call of the day.
Naked HD Wrench Call.
Where is that in the power rankings? Is that stronger than the Spidey bombs, or is it less than? Is it greater than?
Well, let's see how they turn out. But they're gonna be big dong calls. Naked HD. So the first one tonight is Juan Soto.
There you go. Yeah, we're gonna get Roth on in a few minutes, so let us know what's going on weather-wise in that Baltimore-Washington game because it looked a little bit dicey earlier today. We want to get confirmation. We can roster some players there. Shortstop, TJ.
I'm playing one lineup today, so for me, I'm torn between Swanson or O'Neal Cruz. I am good with Baez and Story as well, but I really don't like second base, so I'd rather play them there. Xander Bogaerts is another guy that's all right. He projects very well. He'd probably be my third favorite behind Swanson and Cruz. But yeah, not a very deep position for me today.
All right, outfield. We've talked about it. We lost Trout, we lost Buxton. So who is left standing for you, TJ? You can absolutely spend some salary on Soto. You can absolutely spend some salary on Acuna. Judge, I think, is still going to be behind both those guys, which maybe that's wrong. Of course, the ballpark's terrible, and Baz, pretty solid pitcher. But when Judge hits it, who cares what ballpark he's playing in? What do you have as far as outfielders?
Yeah, Judge is a great tournament guy. I think your top options are probably Happ, Taylor Ward, Brian Reynolds, Ronald Acuna Jr., Juan Soto, JD Martinez. All those guys are great plays up top. Your Baltimore players are fine in there as well. Jock Peterson's one of my favorite one-offs. I don't think a lot of guys are going to go there, and I like them quite a bit. Yeah, that's pretty much it for outfield for me. I don't hate the Jesse Winker call that I think Dre threw in chat. And some of these cheaper Atlanta guys like an Adam Duvall, I don't mind either.
Kirk D's in chat. Cloud just accused you of you're stealing from chat. Like, look at you're a big old hypocrite. You're calling other people stealers.
No, I'm not stealing that. I gave credit to Chat. I said we were going to implement the naked HD dong call. That was from Chat.
I'm just reading the comments on behalf of Chat. I'm an impartial party, just here to read things. What do you have as far as outfield, Kirk D's? Who's standing out for you?
Juan Soto, clear number one play for me today. Ian Happ, the chalk. It's crazy. Like Ortega's leading off for 2,200. I know there's pinch hit risk there for sure, but like you can do anything you want. What's going on?
I'm just reading the chat.
Apparently,
he's going to be on a show, and Roth is going to introduce Naked HD as the creator, curator, of CEO of Naked Dongs, according to Alan Lem, who's having himself a good time. Nice to see Alan in chat.
Look forward to that.
I get you.
He, like you said, Brian Reynolds is a top play. I mean, JD Martinez against Skubal, home run upside for sure. That matchup could go either way. But you know, maybe he gets overlooked a little bit. God, I'm trying to find a low. So like, if these Yankees are going to be low owned, like let's get on them. Yeah, like Stanton. No one. If Stanton's going to be low owned, I know Judge will always get some play. Yeah, let's get Stanton going.
I'm trying to see what we have as far as ownership of the Yankees. I got the Fanduel. So we do have 18% for Judge, which is not a huge number, but again, we have salary, and I think he's going to fall behind some of the other big boys, but nobody else. Nobody else in the Yankees on Fanduel is projected to have more than 5% ownership. And as far as DK, I'm saying my words a little bit slower so I can buy myself some time. Judge is at a little bit over 13%, and then nobody else is higher than 3%. You know, and I'm not running 150. I'm not running 20, so I'm probably not getting there. But if I was, like, you're probably just supposed to play a Yankee stack every day, no matter what. Can we play Blackburn? That's what Eric wants to know. That's your boy, Kirk D's. You're not playing Blackburn, right?
No, I love the stack that's going to be criminally low owned tonight. Again, is Seattle. And we saw last night when they just erupted for 3 back-to-back dong. Let's run it back again tonight.
Jacob says my stash likes Nickelback, and I feel that I have no retort for that. Hey, on behalf, it's your fault, TJ. He's Canadian. Nickelback is Canadian, so you're responsible. Are you a stan for Nickelback, or you kind of apologize? Where are you at on that?
I don't think about them that much, to be honest.
It's your
right
fault,
choice.
You're not taking if you want to take credit for Alanis Morissette and Jim Carrey and Martin Short, you better take credit for Nickelback and Avril Lavigne as well. It's on you.
What do you got against Avril Lavigne? Avril Lavigne's fantastic.
I don't know. I was just naming Canadian people.
Skater Boy is a classic song. Like, that is top tier art.
You must have been like
Arch and I have both talked some Avril Lavigne before. We both are fans.
If you want to go down a wild Twitter, YouTube wormhole, there is allegations. There's this ridiculous. Supposedly they swapped out Avril Lavigne's and like she died like 15 years ago.
That is a pretty hilarious conspiracy. That one's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's completely absurd, but like
TJ would know if that had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Roth, I got a memo from corporate. I just wanted to update you on that. We're going to be implementing the Naked HD dong of the day. So,
that makes sense. Yeah, it's good. Cheese, you can handle that. That sounds like a Cheese one.
Does it now?
You guys missed a pretty big Grinders live show. We got 162 likes already, and as long as Kirk D's and Andre split the bill, I'm going to be getting a Spider-Man tattoo.
Really?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Anyone else want to contribute?
If I don't have to pay for it, I will get it.
What kind of Spider-Man tat are we talking? Like full
lower back, little
just like some right here. Some right here.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that's aggressive because that's a spot that people can actually see.
Oh yeah.
Most would try to hide
Maybe
that.
get married in August.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
In
wait
theory.
until after the wedding.
I will not be agreeing to get a tattoo on the show tonight. Sorry.
If we get 250 likes, STL Cards is gonna get a little
6,000
cardinal.
likes and you ain't getting.
He's
squat.
gonna get a little cardinal on his bum if we get 250 likes.
What would it be, Cards? If you had to get one, if you had to pick something, what would it be?
I'd probably be Cardinal related in some fashion. It would have to be almost, though I haven't really given it that much thought because it's not happening.
Does anybody on the show have any super secret tattoos that just entered? Obviously, Cards, but Dave, Roth, you guys have tattoos or no?
Only 6,000 likes for an STL Cards.
No.
Is that on the main screen now? 6,000.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't know what Devin's doing today. I'm gonna have to exit in protest.
Hey, man.
I do like this question, though.
out.
Cheese, if you were to get a tattoo, what tattoo would you get?
Ice cream?
I mean,
Cheese is getting a Matt Carpenter tattoo, mustache and all.
Just a little carp.
Yeah. No, it would obviously be Cleveland Browns is the only possible option, but I would need way more than 6,000 likes to even.
No, I was thinking like jabroni in script. Like
Actually, I am a jabroni on my forehead. I can consider that.
See, the
Didn't
problem
you
is you
just
can't
Top
really get.
Gun 2.
You can't if you're going to get a sports related tattoo, you almost can't get something that's player related because players come and go.
Well, no, you can absolutely get a Bernie Kosar jersey.
Well, he's I mean, he's I could get a Albert Pujols tattoo. That was probably a poor choice of words right there because that's gonna elicit some NSFW jokes. But retired players, that's different. But if you were to get, say Aaron Judge tattoo and he signs with whoever else is going to throw the bag at him next year, if you're a Yankees fan, then you're stuck with an Aaron Judge tattoo.
A good example would be like if I got like a Kyrie Irving tattoo a couple of years ago from Boston,
Right.
Yeah.
Roth, you don't have like that Pam Anderson like the bars around your bicep, nothing like that?
No, I really came pretty close to getting like a lightning tattoo, like a thunderstorm tattoo. But what if all of a sudden, like, my mom is killed in a freak thunderstorm incident or something, and then every time I look at the tattoo, I'm like, I hate lightning now.
That's a stretch, man.
I thought you were going to say
Then you just put the mom's face next to it.
All right, Mom.
It just seems risky to commit yourself to any one thing. I'm not.
I need
not that
Roth to get a
committed of a human.
Shohei Ohtani tattoo.
A Shohei Ohtani. That one makes sense. I will get Shohei. Just full chest tat of Shohei Ohtani.
Amazing night for Ohtani last night. Of course, the Angels still lost, banged out 2 3-run homers, but we should step aside, Roth, because if people want some clarification, they want to know what's going on weather-wise. I know you did update the Baltimore-Washington situation, but that looked a little bit dicey last I saw, so they want some clarity. They also want some picks. They want to get Dave Potts. Cheese is good. They want STL Cards. Tell them what's going on in baseball tonight. So myself, Curtis, TJ, and his soon-to-be tattoo, Spider-Man tattoo. We can't wait. It's going to be fun. We'll
I'm back on Crunch Time tomorrow with Roth and Cheese. I'll give an update on what the fiance says.
She's not home just yet, unfortunately. We can't call her on the
Not
air.
yet.
That's
Not yet.
Well, we'll step aside, make way for Crunch Time. The FanDuel sponsor, it's FanDuel. That's the official sponsor, no matter what you think they're in chat. The FanDuel sponsor at Crunch Time.
10,000 likes. FanDuel tattoo.
All righty, y'all. We're out.
All right. Somebody in chat said Dean will get a naked HD tat if we get a certain amount of likes, which there we go. 300 plus likes. Dean will get the naked HD logo tat right there on the face. Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome. This is the moment you've been waiting for. It is indeed Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel, as the one and only Dean mentioned. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, new users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. And you can take advantage of that. You get your bonus with your first-time bet, so you don't have to like play through it 8 times or anything silly like that. You just get that bonus, and then follow Scores and Odds. We'll make sure you win that bet as well. Joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Dave Potts, Cheese is good. What up, Cheese?
Weird Slate is up, and everything's fine. But that's what's up. It's just like keep building these lineups, and like they all seem kind of random and terrible. Even though there's plenty of good stuff, it's a very weird slate for a 9-gamer. It doesn't feel like we could possibly have 9 games with so little love, but like Trout's not playing and Buxton's not playing. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I don't know. I'm great. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Someone said Roth needs a cooler full of Pacificos. No Pacificos today. I did enjoy that thoroughly yesterday. We got cards as well. Cards, you feel better about this slate than Cheese, or kind of same boat?
Yeah, same boat. I mean, and part of it's because we saw a lot of teams play, a lot of the good teams play this afternoon, right? The Dodgers aren't on the main slate. Houston, the Mets, the Phillies, the Toronto. A lot of these good offenses played this afternoon. So you look at a night slate where you've got bad teams facing off against each other, right? The Cubs are playing the Pirates, the Nationals are playing the Orioles. So what this means is you're getting bad offense against bad pitching, and those kind of matchups can go either way. So when you're looking at top stacks, you're looking at teams like you wouldn't normally see on a normal, like who targets the Cubs or the Orioles as a top offense. And that's just kind of the nature of the slate we have tonight, because a lot of the good teams played this afternoon. So yeah, it really is unique. One of the weirder ones you'll see for 9 games, but I think it'll be fun nonetheless.
Okay, well, we will make it fun and fruitful and give the people what they want. First, we got to talk a little bit of weather. I would not be shocked if we hear about a late start in Pittsburgh. Is that on the main slate?
It is.
Okay. No matter what we hear in Pittsburgh, everything is fine. The storms are clearing out. They are just now leaving, but it could have impacted warm up some. So everything is fine there. The game that is the concern would be Baltimore. What do we want in Baltimore, guys?
Definitely not pitching.
Just bats.
Great. Okay. I think you just play it. There's some definite risk in Baltimore. There's these storms that are 3 miles away right now from the ballpark. There's going to be better chances for storms the later we go in the game, as well as, some storms can start popping up. But I just think, despite the fact that there's storms and there's rain all around, I like what I'm seeing immediately upstream. I think it likely works out, but I can't promise you that it's safe. I can't promise you that a storm won't pop up in the 4th or 5th inning, and then a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong from there. Is that good enough for you?
That's plenty good enough for me.
Yeah, you're playing it cash, GPPs. You don't care. I mean, I know you don't play cash, but
yeah, I don't think you would. I don't think you need anything there in cash anyway. But I wouldn't honestly change my mind anyway.
Okay, great. Well, if you don't need anything in there in cash, then take a equal pivot somewhere else where you've got no risk. But I think in GPPs, you just kind of take the risk on this one, cross your fingers, and I think it probably works out okay. So I'm not going to talk you off any plays there. Even if you want to get crazy and play pitcher, I think that would probably work out as well. Let's talk about what we're going to do at pitcher. Cheese, I'm looking here, and I feel like we haven't been rostering Shohei Ohtani at pitcher, and now all of a sudden he's got 4 little rainbow dots. Is he the dude now?
Yes.
Yes, he's the dude.
The only reason we haven't been rostering him is he's been on so many just wildly loaded slates with tons of aces. Tonight, the only other name recognition ace is Carlos Rodon, but he's in Atlanta, and he's more expensive, especially on DraftKings, but even on Fanduel. Tariq Skubal, another ace, is in Boston. So personally, on Fanduel, where he's 10K and Rodon is 10.5, I wouldn't argue with you if you wanted to play Rodon instead of him. Personally, I think Ohtani is the clear SP1 on both sites, and I don't think it's close or worth even thinking about. Overall, there's a lot of good pitchers. There's more good pitchers than good offenses, and yet still, I'm more narrowed down a pitcher than I've been at any point all season. I have 2 pitchers on FanDuel, and I have 3, pretty much 2, and barely a third on DraftKings, and that's it. That's my whole pool.
I'm intrigued about your second and third options.
So my third option on DraftKings, I have just a couple, is Carlos Rodon. Just if I'm sitting on $3,000, I'll throw him in there occasionally. But pretty much I'm just playing George Kirby in Oakland. He's good anyway. He's way underpriced on DraftKings. He's not underpriced on FanDuel, but at 8,800 you can play whoever you want. It's quite possible that I'm overrating George Kirby, and I'm fine with that. I don't think that I am. I have something like, again, on FanDuel, those are the only 2 pitchers I have, Ohtani and Kirby, period. On DraftKings, I have something like 15% Rodon and like 80 apiece on Ohtani and Kirby. If it wasn't so easy to find salary, I'd be happy with 100% Ohtani Kirby. I'm not telling you that's what you have to do. But I'm going to let cards tell you who else to play, because I just like who I like so much that I don't even want to mess with it.
Okay. Well, cards, I want to hear your thoughts. And I'm looking here at these numbers like Adam Wainwright, under 8K, almost no projected ownership, projected for nearly 30 points. Like, that all sounds good to me. Any interest there?
Yeah, I mean, not really on him specifically. But I think, what's weird to me is you see Rodon, or we got Rodon at 32% on DraftKings, and we've got Skubal at 10. And Rodon is in Atlanta, Skubal's in Boston, tough matchups. But I mean, the Braves have a 4.8 run implied team total, and Boston is at 4.3. So to me, the pivot is to Skubal at 10% ownership and not Rodon at 32. So I mean, I agree. Ohtani, Kirby, especially on DraftKings, those are the logical two guys. They're certainly the two guys I'd play in cash. Rodon makes sense, and people just in lineups where you're using all these cheap offenses that have high totals tonight, people can just get to Rodon and say, okay, I'll just play him. But I think Skubal is the tournament pivot. I'm like Cheese. I don't have a deep pool tonight, but I do like Skubal a lot in tournaments. I mean, it's risky, but he's been really, really good. And one bad start's not going to take me off of him. So he's my pivot.
Anybody cheaper, or is Kirby as cheap as
I mean, it is pretty much Kirby as the cheap guy. I mean, Jordan Montgomery is going to get some ownership because of how watered down the Tampa Bay lineup is, and the Yankees are road favorites. Tampa Bay might have the lowest team total on the board. I mean, Kirby's even cheaper yet. So Montgomery would be the other option in there, but it's not like I love him. Waka against Detroit, I suppose, is fine, but I'm on board with Kirby as the cheap guy. But I think
really just salary is just not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can, especially after you take Trout and Buxton now, but even before that, you can build essentially any lineup you want and have money left. So you just don't need to fish around for more value.
Yeah, I actually saw a comment on the YouTube. Someone said, like, if I'm not leaving money, I have no chance of winning a solo GPP.
I mean, yeah, you can tie.
Right. But, okay. All right, let's go talk about some of the stacks and some of the bats. Cards, you can lead us off with what you like.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned it's a weird slate tonight because a lot of those good teams played earlier, and the Braves are probably the best overall offense on the night slate, but they have to face the best pitchers. So it all becomes a hodgepodge of these lower tier teams facing bad pitching, or some of the good offenses are facing good pitching. The Angels would have topped a lot of people's lists, but you can't use Ohtani as a hitter tonight, and Trout is not in the lineup. And Walsh is not in the lineup. So significant downgrade to that Angels lineup tonight. I don't really love them as a stack. I think in terms of stacks, I like the Cubs. I like Baltimore because you can always pick on Patrick Corbin. And I think, the wild card game is probably the Cardinals game tonight, because those are two teams, the Cardinals and the Brewers, are better teams, but they're throwing better pitchers out tonight. With Lauer for the Brewers and Wainwright for the Cardinals. Now, Wainwright doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He's had his problems against the Brewers in the past, so I don't mind Milwaukee. And Lauer has not been the same pitcher over the last month that he was, over the first month and a half or so of the season. And the Cardinals tend to hit lefties fairly well. So I think the Cardinals and the Brewers are maybe, your underrated offenses tonight against good pitching. Otherwise, I think teams like the Cubs, Orioles, are probably the top of the list, and a little cooler on the Angels now with their lineup.
Okay. Cheese, what do you like?
I just need to say, since Card kind of mentioned already, you guys remember when Eric Lauer had 2 great starts and everyone thought, oh, he's the next greatest pitcher of all time? He's still just Eric Lauer. Like, he's really not much of a thing. The guy's allowed 3 home runs in like 3 of his last 6 or 7 starts, and he's not striking anybody out. Whoop-de-doo on Eric Lauer. So yeah, pretty much everything Cards mentioned. I think those first 2 games with the kind of the nonsense, why are these games even playing? Cubs, Pirates, Nationals, Orioles, do these teams need to exist? But it's a lot of offense because these are the bad pitchers. Like, our projections really like Baltimore and Pittsburgh bats, and Cubs bats are cheap and projecting pretty well. I like that Twins Guardians game. for offense as well. Like everywhere, they're pretty good pitchers, but they're not great pitchers. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I agree that Cardinals-Brewers game is very interesting, and I have the Twins right up there with those teams as my favorites.
All right, you want to go around the horn, position by position, Cheese?
You know that I do.
All right, let's start at catcher.
Catcher, Wilson Contreras and Gary Sanchez are very playable on FanDuel. They're great plays on DraftKings because, again, you have salary. I think Contreras is the chalk and Sanchez is the other chalk, and those are the best plays, and that's who you should play.
Cards, anything different there, or you got the money, spend it on a good player?
Yeah, I mean, you are going to want to spend at the position tonight. Though, you could go. Yan Gomes is your value option. He's 2,600 on DraftKings. He's hitting 5th tonight. I mean, it's not like he's that special, but you can get to Contreras on the same team, better hitter. 4,800 on DraftKings isn't exorbitant by any means. So, yeah, Contreras and Sanchez are the top options. I don't mind using Gomes if you need the salary relief, but in most cases, you probably aren't going to need that tonight.
Okay, first base cards.
Yeah, I like Goldschmidt a lot tonight. One caution is that his back is bothering him. He did not play last night. He is DHing tonight. He's just been fantastic this year. He's really good against lefties, but just, a word of caution, he is a little bit banged up. So he's probably the only spend I'm interested in. From there, you're kind of looking at value options. The Orioles guys, I mentioned like targeting them. Mountcastle is a little bit of a better play on DraftKings. Mancini is an option as well. I don't mind Rowdy Tellez for value. So Goldie's pretty much the only spend there. Otherwise, this is a spot where maybe you're looking mid-range, and that's fine.
Okay. Cheese?
Yeah, definitely with Goldschmidt. And as far as the back, my back hurts, honestly, and I'm doing freaking fantastic so far, so I'm fine with Goldie. Vogelbach is the cheap guy that I like. Mancini and Mountcastle, yeah. But Rowdy Tellez and Brandon Belt also interest me a lot. It's just kind of guys I don't think anyone's going to play, even though they're borderline obvious. I think the Baltimore guys and Vogelbach and Goldschmidt take up more of the attention. So I have a lot of Rowdy.
Okay, take me to second base.
It is not good out here at second. On FanDuel, I think you might consider Javi Baez. VR is probably going to be the popular guy, which what does that say about the slate? Trevor Story is like the most talented hitter here, but he's the most expensive and he's facing Skubal. I still like him. But I don't think you just have to spend at second if you need to save money somewhere. I'm fine with Louis Arias and Tommy Edman, but both those guys are kind of better in stacks for their price.
Cards?
Yeah, I agree. And I think in our survey today, I put Baez as one of my favorite tournament plays. And it seems strange to say that about a guy that, a week ago was hitting 188. But he's been better over the last week. He's looked locked in probably for the first time since he's been with the Tigers. So he's 3 for 5 with a home run and a triple last night. Had 2 hits Monday, hit Sunday, home run Saturday. So it's baby steps, obviously. But you look at Baez as a guy with power. He's facing Waka, who is known throughout his career as kind of a reverse splits guy. And he's only 2,800 on FanDuel, and second base is weak. So obviously with Baez, there's risk, and it's probably a better tournament play than it is cash games just in general. But it's not like any of these guys are must-haves tonight. So really like Baez at that position on FanDuel. No problem if you want to spend up for Edman or Story, but I don't think you have to spend here tonight.
All right, go to third.
All right, third base. Jose Ramirez is back, and so just almost by process of elimination, he becomes the top play. He is facing a good pitcher tonight, though, and I think it is worth noting. We've got him at 30% ownership right now on FanDuel. So you look at all the pivots below him, they're all at significantly lower ownership. Suarez against Blackburn, Arias against McKenzie, Nolan Arenado against the lefty. Like, those are all guys that I like as pivots in tournaments. never going to try to talk you out of playing Jose Ramirez, but just from an ownership perspective, I think those guys are pivots. Wisdom will carry some ownership on FanDuel against a bad pitcher because he's only $2,300 and he's got plenty of power too. So quite a few options at third. I kind of like the low owned Arenado, Suarez types in GPPs tonight.
Okay. Cheese, third.
Everything he said about Ramirez is correct. Like, very obviously the best play, and you can very obviously afford him, and he's very obviously going to be chalky. I'm still playing mostly him because he's better than everybody else, but I love Arenado as well. I kind of like playing Patrick Wisdom and leaving salary on the table, and then the stash is playing.
I saved him just for you.
Yeah. Really, I know they were talking about it at the end of the last show, like the Yankees, like nobody's playing Yankees. If you're multi-entering, you should have a Yankee stack or two and do a little like mix and match Rizzo, Donaldson, Carpenter. So you're not just playing the exact same lineup.
Okay. Shortstop, Cheese.
Slightly better than second, mostly because you have O'Neal Cruz, who's more of a DK play today. He's good on FanDuel, but like we don't need this salary, and it's not really that much of a gap. The guy I like the best is Correa. He's very easy to get on FanDuel, and again, like there's so many ways to get salary on DK. That's still who I would play. The Boston guys are interesting, and then Javi Baez again. It like Card said, it feels weird to like Javi Baez, but I do like him.
Cards?
Yeah, not much to add there because there aren't a whole lot of plays other than those guys. Like Cruz makes a ton of sense. He is leading off. The Pirates have messed around with their lineup a little bit tonight, and they've scored a bunch of runs in this series. Like it goes to show you the Cubs, the Pirates are bad. The Cubs might be worse. It's just an ugly series between two bad teams and bad pitching, and the Cubs bullpen is bad. And Keegan Thompson started out the year okay, but now he's kind of shown that he's again still bad. So Cruz is the cheap guy. Correa spend up, Baez because of position eligibility. And you see somebody like Dansby Swanson there, and that's another thing. Like Cheese mentioned, throwing in some Yankee stacks. You can throw in some Atlanta stacks too. I mean, Rodon is a guy that has dynamite stuff when he's on, and he's been on a lot this year, but then he went through a stretch, 5 1/3, 3 runs, 3 walks against the Reds, walked 4 against the Padres, gave up 8 runs in 3 2/3 innings against the Cardinals. So when he's off, he can be bad. And Atlanta's offense has obviously been clicking this month when they ripped off all those wins in a row. Last night's game was like 12-10 between these two teams. So nobody's going to want to stack against Rodon, but the same token, you're getting all these Atlanta bats at extremely low ownership. Like Acuna is going to have ownership, just like Judge with the Yankees. Every other Atlanta bat, we've got under 9% on FanDuel. So same thing. If you're throwing in a bunch of lineups tonight, I think you got to at least give yourself some Atlanta exposure in the event that, Rodon is off his game.
Okay. Let's talk about the outfield cards. You can bring us into that.
Yeah, the outfield has kind of changed complexion over the last couple of hours once we got lineups, because you've got no Trout, who was probably going to be the most popular outfield play on the night, and you've got no Buxton, who was going to be pretty popular tonight. So that's probably taken maybe 45, 50% total ownership and spread it around to other plays. Now, people who have maybe already started building lineups, they're going to want to switch that salary over to similarly priced plays because you're not going to want to blow your lineups up. That's what has led to a little more ownership on Soto and Judge and Acuna. Even though some of those guys, maybe JD Martinez, even though they're facing good pitchers tonight, and that's fine. Like if you got the salary, you can spend it, you can shift it over to one of those guys. I think Soto is probably my favorite in a vacuum, but he'll also probably end up being the most popular. I like Brian Reynolds a lot in GPPs tonight. He's 2,900 on FanDuel. Taylor Ward at 2,900 as well. Basically the Angels guy that I'm interested in the most. Those are a couple of mid-range plays, and you don't really need to go value here. because there's so much opportunity cost in the outfield. If you go value at second or third, the pitching isn't super expensive tonight. Like, I just don't think you need a 2,200 Rafael Ortega. I don't have anything against Ortega or Max Kepler or somebody like that. I just don't know if it's necessary. And then the Baltimore right-handed bats in the outfield, Hayes, Santander, I think are in play as well. That's a good chunk of my outfield plays.
Okay, Cheese, your favorites?
I would agree that the expensive guys will get way more ownership now because of the Trout thing, and just how much salary is just sitting around. It's pretty hard to say, I'm going to stick with my Austin Hayes if you can just play Judge instead, and that's what we run into in a lot of lineups. I think Ward and Reynolds are the very chalky mid-tier plays, and I do like them, but I don't really like them any more than Austin Hayes or Ian Happ or Christian Yelich or Peterson and Yaz, Max Kepler. It's all fine and interesting. Cardinals Brewers game is somewhat viable everywhere, and like guys like Carlson and Renfroe, I mentioned Yelich already. Just they're decent players, and that's just the kind of game that might go a little bit nuts. So I like them.
Okay. You got one stack to win it all, Cheese. Who you playing?
I'm playing. Well, my one lineup to win it all is not going to be a stack, but if I need a stack to win it all, it'll be the Twins.
Interesting. Why do you say your one lineup to win it all is not going to be a stack tonight?
Because you can play whoever you want, and we always get the question: when do you play someone outside of your stack? It's when you can get someone, and I say it, you get someone clearly way better than the other play, and that's what you can get tonight. I don't feel the need to play Jonathan VR when I can just play Jose Ramirez instead.
But if you're playing all of these guys, Jose Ramirez and Judge, are you a chalk donkey?
Well, except people are still going to stack. And I'm again, going back to pitcher, I'm so locked in on pitcher. What every lineup combination I have, if I get beat at pitcher, I'm getting beat with that chalk. But I'm fine tying for first because I don't think that'll actually happen. There's still so many builds, even with that chalk. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Cards, favorite stack out there if you're playing, let's say, one single entry lineup and you're trying to beat 15,000 people.
This is tough because I think when you consider the positions, like on DraftKings, I like the Cubs because you need a catcher. And so Contreras has so much value over there, or Gomes if you're looking to be a little contrarian. But on FanDuel, you don't need a catcher, and you also don't really need the salary, so it's a little tougher to get to endorse the Cubs as a top play. So it would depend on the site. On DraftKings, I'd probably say the Cubs. On FanDuel, I'd probably say the Orioles. If I want to be a homer, I'd say the Cardinals. So, there you go. It depends on the site and if I want to be a homer tonight. But I do think the Cardinals and the Brewers. I think when you factor in ownership, right now, we don't have anybody in that game over 12%. And, people are still clinging, like Cheese said earlier, clinging to these thoughts about Lauer being a superstar ace when, one of his premier games came against the Phillies when they weren't beating anybody. And, a few starts ago, Wainwright didn't have any strikeouts. And so, you're going to get balls in play against them. And the total in that game is 9, and nobody's over 12% owned. So maybe it's a game stack of that game. It's really interesting to see how that's going to play out tonight. But I do agree. I almost always stack, but I do think you can, if you get all the home runs right, you can probably get away without it tonight.
I'll tell you what I hear Cards saying. Probably we could consolidate it into the greatest sentence of all time. He's going to game stack for leverage.
Game stack both sides of the same game for unrelated reasons. But
man. Okay.
I mean, it is viable, particularly if you're going to a game. If you're going to the game to watch, that's the one time it's viable on its own.
Oh, for sure. That it's like a must do. Like
that's a rule. You have
or
to
if it's Coors, then I guess you can't. But
yeah.
Or a Wrigley
okay, let's get some of these QQs. We've got about 9 minutes here, and I'm going to take some from the Discord, some from the YouTube as well. Somebody said, hey, Kevin, life got in the way a little bit, and I missed your early weather update. I get that. That happens. The only issue weather-wise is going to be in Baltimore, and I think you just play it. I think it's going to work out. There's enough storms around. I mean, there's storms 3-5 miles away. They're very, very close. But forecast models keep them just away until maybe the very end of the game, when I think it'll just be lighter stuff that they can play through and finish up. It's not safe, but I think you just do it. I just think it's going to work out for you. I think they probably play the whole game, probably uninterrupted. But I certainly can't promise you that with storms as close as they are. So fine with it for GPPs. For cash, maybe that's kind of your own risk tolerance there. Let's get to some other QQs here. Jay says, hey, Cards, DK single entry. I'm stacking Cleveland. Who is a better one-off, Ward or Soto? If I go Ward, I'm leaving 1K on the table.
Yeah, I would probably go Soto in that case. I mean, their ownership's probably going to be about the same. And in that case, you just go with the guy, with a longer track record. And in Soto, I don't think you're doing it wrong either way. But Cleveland's going to be contrarian enough that I don't think you have to worry about leaving salary on the table. So give me Soto.
Okay. Carolina guy says, Cheese, Fanduel single entry. I got $2,500 left. I need an outfielder. And then he's got a follow-up question. But
that's Max Kepler.
Kepler?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 4,200 left. Same thing. Fanduel single entry. Util spot, Goldie or Soto. I think you said Goldie was one of your favorite bats, right?
Goldie, yeah.
All right. DK single entry Cards. Bell and Soto or Belt and Reynolds?
I mean, if you're stacking Washington, obviously I like the first one, but in a vacuum, I like the second one better.
Right. Cheese, is McKenzie a good play in FanDuel single entry?
Not to me. He is not. No. I mean, there's a lot of good pitchers that I'm just not playing. And I mean, I don't want to tell you not to play him if that's who you like, but to me, no.
Cards, any interest at all in McKenzie?
Not particularly. Not tonight. I mean, like, I don't mind getting a little different, but he would be like probably 7th or 8th on my list.
Okay. DK single entry, one stack Cards, Brewers or Braves? Who you like?
Oh, man. I think you're doing it right either way in terms of game theory. Maybe give a slight edge to Milwaukee, but I do like the thought process behind both.
Great. Cheese, which stack do you like better, San Francisco or Washington?
San Fran.
Okay, Dan Jan, I feel like the answer to this is you're nuts, but the question is, how nuts am I for having a card stack in one of my DK single entry lineups with Lynch and McKenzie as the pitching pair?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's probably a little too creative. I like the Cardinals just fine. My guess is that he's got all the highest priced Cardinals and he's got like really expensive bats around it. I would maybe stick to one of those two pitchers. They both have decent strikeout props, but I think you got to pair one of them with like an Ohtani or a Skubal. I'm probably not going double risk with those two pitchers tonight. And
Gotcha.
To be honest, I'd probably play Lynch over McKenzie.
Okay, well, that was actually the next question from GD, and I'll give this one to Cheese. Is Lynch okay against a weak Angels lineup in a DK GPP? Again, you're only playing like 1.5 guys pitching tonight.
Right. I mean, Lynch has struck out a bunch of guys the last couple starts. And yes, the Angels lineup is watered down. I just don't see how you need the salary. But yes, he is moderately in play. I wouldn't yell at you if you played him.
Okay. And Cheese, someone said, hey, I'm so sorry. I just got in late. Could you give a very quick breakdown of your favorite pitchers, FanDuel and DK? And it was pretty quick for you.
Ohtani and Kirby, and I am done.
That's it. There you go. Ohtani and Kirby, and he is not branching out. He's not doing anything else. FanDuel Cash, 2v2 Cards, Kepler, Goldie, or Yelich and Mountcastle?
That was a cash question?
It was, yeah. Kepler, Goldie, or Yelich, Mountcastle?
I would take the first one.
All right. Cheese DK single entry, Pearson or Yelich? Last piece.
Jock.
Raymond, FanDuel GPP Cards, Last man in, Kepler or Kwan?
Kepler.
Gregorius says, hey, Cheese, Paredes hit 3 dongs yesterday. He's got another 3 in him tonight.
Obviously, that's the way math works.
Any interest there? Or
No.
I mean, he has been terrible all year prior to that, right?
I mean, he had one other game. I think he had a 2-homer game earlier in the year as well. And so, I mean, he's now hit 8 homers with his 209 average. But they're very, very far between. And
right.
There's no reason to play him.
Right. Okay. FanDuel Cash. Cards, you want Goldie or J-Ram? I think you want them both, but you can only have one in this scenario. So who do you want?
I would probably play Ramirez in cash.
Okay. Home run pick of the day. Cards, you can start us off here. What do you like? It can be someone chalky or it can be someone sneaky.
I'm firmly convinced now that Nolan Gorman's going to hit 80 homers in a season. So, he's getting his first start against the lefty tonight, so I'm excited to see that. Not banking on Nolan Gorman tonight, but he's really fun to watch hit. So hopefully the next superstar for the Cardinals. I'll go with Brian Reynolds tonight. I really like him against Keegan Thompson and the Cubs. Just awful bullpen / pitching staff / whatever else they want to call it.
Okay, but in your heart, you kind of want to say Gorman because he's your boy.
No, I don't. Yeah, he's never started against a lefty, so it's nice that they're letting him start against a lefty tonight.
I see, but it's not necessarily great for him.
They haven't let him face, so he's left-handed, but he hit 2 home runs. He was 4 for 4 with 2 homers last night, so they're finally letting him start. They figure, 4 for 4 with a couple home runs, maybe you are better than some of the scrubs that we might throw out there instead. So excited to see him starting against a lefty, but if you want to bank on a Cardinal for a home run tonight, it'd be one of the right-handed power guys like Arenado.
Okay. Cheese, favorite home run pick of the day?
Let's do a little Rowdy.
Okay. All right. DKGPP, would you play someone cheap? Would you play someone a cheap one-off who had a monster game the day before, like Paredes?
Don't get Cheese rolling on that.
Yeah. I think the answer to this was no. In general, we don't care.
I mean, what happened yesterday is honestly not even relevant. I mean, if you liked Paredes before yesterday, then it's fine to like him today.
Okay. All right. That's a good way to put it. All right. Cheese, favorite shortstop, 4,500 or less in a DKGPP.
Quite honestly, it's Cruz and leave the salary.
Okay. And then your favorite stack, could you remind me again?
Minnesota.
Okay. Great. D-Dot, FanDuel single entry cards, Olsen, Cruz, or Arenado and Yelich?
I'd take the second one.
Mr. Perfect says, is it crazy to play Scooball? And Cards, you do not think it's crazy.
I like it. I like it. And GPPs, I like it.
Right. I think in general, we like the lower ownership that's coming with him there. DKGPP, what are your thoughts on Ty France against Blackburn, Cheese?
He's not on my list. I mean, he's totally fine. Seattle is playable like they were last night. But outside of one Seattle stack, personally, he just didn't make my cut because there's too many good first basemen ahead of him.
Okay. Dan Jan says, hey, I got to follow up to the McKenzie Lynch. Is that crazy lineup? Would you rather play Lynch and Ohtani together? And that seems...
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Some people, get bent out of shape about playing 2 pitchers from the same game.
Oh.
Starting pitchers just aren't going as deep these days, and the whole win bonus, it just is less relevant in the grand scheme of things. So, I wouldn't mind Ohtani and Lynch together, even though they're facing each other. So
and am I wrong that we only care about the win on FanDuel?
Well, I mean,
you still get points on that.
You still get points on DraftKings. I think FanDuel also has the quality start bonus.
That's what I was thinking of.
Which is irrelevant to both pitchers in the same game can have a quality start depending on their numbers. So it's just the win that can only go. Back in the day, FanDuel used to have a ridiculous bonus for a win. And it was FanDuel's scoring system has changed so much over the years that I can't even put point values on it. But comparatively speaking, the win points on FanDuel used to be a big deal. and they kind of split that now into win and quality start. But you're not playing 2 pitchers on FanDuel anyway, so that doesn't matter. And on DraftKings, it's just the win is less of a percentage of your total points. That it's just not a big deal. Some people just don't like playing 2 pitchers that are facing each other for that reason.
Okay, that's good background. Thank you. All right, a few more QQs. We hit the lock, by the way, but we'll take a couple more here. DKGPP, is Lane Thomas as a value outfielder? I guess, is he okay as a value outfielder, or better to just have him as a stack? So basically, can you one-off some dude named Lane Thomas?
He's okay. I mean, I'd rather just play him in a stack. I don't, just plucking out Lane Thomas as a one-off doesn't seem really necessary tonight, especially since he's not leading off. Only in stacks for me.
Okay. Mr. Perfect says, Cheese, is Riley Green a good pivot off of Ortega?
Yes, I would say he is. And I would say I like Green better than Lane Thomas if you're looking for random value outfielder.
Great.
You know, I have wandered around the house every now and again when the Cubs are on or whatever, saying Ortega just like that. And I wondered where I picked it up from. And now I realize I picked it up from Roth.
It's me. Have you seen the movie? What is it? With
Probably
Jim
not.
Carrey? Yeah, it's Jim Carrey when he's like a news anchor. I can't think of the name.
I need the title.
Bruce Almighty.
It's Bruce Almighty. It's where he's also God. It's Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, I
Great
have not
movie.
seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the main anchor in that, her last name is Ortega, and she says it super obnoxiously every time. She goes, Ortega. So now every time I see the name, I have to say it that way. So that's what it is.
Good background on that as well.
There you have it. Okay, on FanDuel, would you mind Madras, Cheese, who has some power, but playing him helps me get Judge, Goldie, Correa, Nolan, Ohtani, yada, 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 greatness.
Yeah, I kind of do like him, actually, for a super cheap guy.
MB says, hey, Roth, how was the hangover? That's good. I felt good. Felt good this morning. Had a good time last night. Felt good this morning. No residual effects there. All right. We have caught up on all the questions. Let's jump over. Your favorite catcher in tournaments? Cheese, it's just kind of spend up, right? I mean, these guys are going to come at high ownership.
But I mean, I would say Sanchez over Contreras, because Contreras, like, they're both great. Contreras will probably be more of the mega chalk, so I would just go Sanchez.
Okay. Hey, with that, I think we can get on out of here. Let me pull up the right thing. We've done it. We've answered the questions, and we've given the plays. We talked the weather. So let's head on out for Cheese and for Cards and for Devin, working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love it. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.